Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and wrestling matters. And it has been quite the week, and we're going to certainly continue it here because we've got a man that might be living in the Datitude era. But before we fully get in to the Datitude era, we've got to talk about maybe an encore coming up and then a Day of Atonement, which has really been almost a year in the making. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about something here a guy said last Friday on here where we stood up for greatness, but instead, now we'll have to get, the stepdad's response. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about maybe what happened in GTS and we'll certainly get into that. Maybe we'll even throw in a GBYWN reference for something coming to Golden Triangle Media's YouTube channel near you. Plus, we'll most certainly talk about who knows whatever else is on the minds of people. But I may not be 100%, but I'm going to give our guest that introduction. That introduction he most certainly deserves, even though the left side of my mouth took literally a shotgun in it, and I shouldn't do this intro, but I feel like this is the first time since, actually last week that I could really do this intro. I have to give it to this man because this man is truly the definition of the All Wrestling Matters movement. This is a man that is doing things for the right reasons. This is a man that is certainly made history. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what happened on June 13th. We're going to talk about what's ahead here for maybe the biggest weekend here where he's going to be pulling, let's just say 2 for the price of 1 here coming up this weekend. But as I stated, because people have been waiting for it and they want to get the show on the road. Plus, I've even got a few surprises for our guest, and no, Angel Santiago's not coming on. He's coming here Monday night. No, Castor's not coming on here. He'll be back some other time. No, Papa Bear's not here. He's busy seeing who won the Braves and the Phillies game and getting ready for NFL Week 1. And no, his stepson Connor Schaefer is not here. He's on let's just say errands or whatever duty he needs to do. But it is now time to get this show on the road here in style on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, #1 global sports show. A man that is a founding father of the All Wrestling Matters movement. A man that was the host of the Global Backyard Wrestling News Network. And a man that is one half of one of the greatest tag teams around in all of independent wrestling, the Stepdads. His name is, simply put, the reigning, defending GBYWN World Heavyweight Champion and the MPW Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion. He is Dead Red. Radley Belmont. Welcome to the Attitude Era. The double champ is here. My friend, how are we doing?
Holy Toledo! Heck yeah! How is your voice, Tom? My goodness gracious.
Yeah, well, I actually want to laugh. I had to re-listen to my intro to the last real one I did on Sunday. I was like, because I think I had it. I did it a few days ago. I came back on and I needed to re-listen to it to get into it. But we're getting there. I still feel I'm a few seconds behind, but that's okay. We'll eventually get off the training wheels. But we had to give it to you. You are the legendary Rad Dad Radley Belmont. We are in the Datitude Era. And it is certainly great to be with you, my friend. We have a lot to talk about, as always, with you. You are certainly the center of attention, and you've got a very, very busy weekend coming up here next week.
It's incredible. It's an incredible week. First of all, it's like riding a bike, Tom. You haven't missed a step, okay?
Well,
you can put yourself down a little bit here and there, but we hear the high notes. We know you're putting in the effort. And
I appreciate that. No, I do appreciate that. No, the effort was put in. I'm almost there. I still can't quite eat regular foods yet. I'm sick and tired of mashed potatoes and lo mein, but I'm hoping by tomorrow I can have a slice of pizza, but we'll see. Probably not tomorrow, but we'll eventually get there. But enough about that. I did see you watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th year anniversary, which I was disappointed. I couldn't find a theater here locally by me in Staten Island or Brooklyn. But enough about that. Rad Dad, Radley Belmont. I could talk about that all night, but I don't think people want to hear. I don't think people want to hear me talk about that. But this is definitely no cartoon because Rad Dad Radley Belmont. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and the companies you represent certainly helped build, Sportzwire Radio. Set the tables, though, for us coming up first. Matt Pro Wrestling this Friday, an encore against a guy that helped you after the match and now wants to take something away from you that's near and dear to your heart and also on your shoulder.
It's crazy. It's crazy, Bryce, because as you see, I still have the GYWN World Championship. But look at this huge trophy belt. Look at this thing.
Yeah, I probably put the screen up here for it. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, that is, you talked a lot about this a couple of months ago. You came here last on Labor Day, and you talked a lot of a Memorial Day. You're here before Labor Day, and you talked a lot about that championship, what it meant. And it's one of the prettiest prizes, and it's the first singles championship of your career. Your 9.5-year career wrestling now as an independent wrestler. And it's the first championship, and the championship that you won by defeating a man that is renowned in the top 150 of the PWI, one of the most successful wrestlers around in the tri-state area, Mr. Darius Carter. Now you have to defend that championship again against a guy who's sturdy and also named Sal.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Fun fact for you. My first title defense, I wrestled a company called, well, it wasn't a company. It was a show called Project X.
At the
four different wrestling promotions.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But what you won't see in that, and what most people don't know, is that Rich Swann was behind the curtain with me right before my match. And he was almost late he was the match before me, and he was almost late for his own entrance. Because he was trying to trade belts with me. He had
the former TNA Impact Wrestling World Champion wanted to trade belts with you?
Yeah, he had what they called the Irish Tag Team Championship. If you ever look up the NWA Ireland Tag Title, it looked like that. Okay. And apparently he had legitimately gone to Ireland and won it at some promotion out there. And he loved this belt so much and the chains and everything that he was trying to convince me to switch belts with him just for his entrance.
Wow.
I couldn't do it. But
why not? It's Rich Swann. I would have did it. Well, why not?
No, because I was the very next match anyway, and I wanted to come out looking pristine as possible. And with my first championship, it was the first time I got to walk out with the gold. And as you know, for Encore on September 5th, it'll be my second time coming out with the gold. I'm wrestling Sturdy Sal, and Sturdy Sal I have had one match with before.
Yep.
For people who don't know, We had a tag team match in the tag team championship tournament. And I ended up getting the win in that tag team match when his own tag team partner DDT'd me on the floor of the building and took me out of play for most of that match. When I was finally tagged back in, Sturdy Sal had enough of his tag team partner's cheap tactics.
He's talking about that here. I can't put it up on the volume, but he certainly
Mateo
had
Marcellus and Sturdy Sal have had a problem ever since. And now that he feels like he's overcome Marcellus, finally, he's coming after my gold. And I got no problem with that. I want to wrestle the best. And this kid, he's coming up strong. He's won a couple of championships already, 2.5 years into his career. And as you know, this is my first singles major championship in an independent promotion like Matt Pro. He's already won a couple from these other promotions, and he wants more gold. He has to prove it. He's got to prove it. And I am more than willing to be the man and the teacher that he needs to know that he cannot always succeed. I did not always succeed in my career. I had to grow by failure, by learning how to fall and how to get back up. And I want to do the exact same thing to Sal. You don't want to have too much too soon. You might end up like, I don't know, like Darius Carter or something with all the ego in the world, and he deserves, I'd say at least most of the championships he gets. He's a little underhanded from time to time, but at the same time, I know Sturdy Sal is a different kind of wrestler. And I will say let the best man win because I think I am the best man for the job at Matt Pro.
Well, listen, those are things, and I'll put the matchup with Darius for a little bit. We'll have it on in the background. We'll get your reactions toward it. But he talked about your age. He talked about, obviously, your time, and it's his time now. And you've reflected a lot about that. You've talked about you don't know how much longer you have as a top guy, and you seem to appreciate this moment. Obviously we think you'll wrestle for 30 plus years, and what's his name? Was it Mike Jackson? I think is like 70 plus in the Indies. I always give that as an example. So, I mean, for all we know, you could be just starting out and have the success, but you've been open about that, and you really don't know how long. You've talked about what this championship means to you. Obviously, autism awareness. We know the story behind this company. This is one of those companies that really gets it, and this is the first championship of your career. But Sturdy Sal, I mean, he obviously sees things differently than you, and you've been very open about just where you are in your career and just what this championship means and how hard you're going to fight to keep it coming up this Friday.
Absolutely. The person I think about most in those situations is Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton was a huge idol of mine growing up. I got to wrestle the man.
You were in the ring with, by the way.
I was in the ring with him, and I wrestled him. I believe he was 61 or 62, maybe 61 when I wrestled him, and he was still kicking my butt. I'll tell you that right now. So in my mind,
you watched it on here on Sportzwire. I remember watching it with you. Yes.
In my mind, there's no reason why I can't go to 61 and beat up another guy who thinks he's a rad dad, for his time in the future. There's no reason why I can't continue on and wrestle against the best of the next generation. But as you know, I'm 37 years old. This is my first singles championship. And for it to be Matt Pro Wrestling, a company that is all about autism awareness. It's about telling people no matter what's going on in their lives, they can be a champion in their own lives for their own families. That's super important message, a super positive message that we are all here for. And that's why Matt Pro has teamed up with companies like Pro Wrestling Magic, OWR, Pro Wrestling R. These are the companies that I've already defended this title in through events like Project X, a show that happened 2 miles away from MetLife Stadium.
I know, at the East Rutherford YMCA, a place I know.
Just hours before SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it was,
That's why this belt, this championship trophy belt, means so much to me, and why I want to hold on to it as long as possible, because I'm not just representing one league of wrestling. I'm representing a phenomenal cause that it's close to my heart with my friends and my family. And so to wrestle against some great stars, I mean, let's not call anything, we're going to call a spade here. Darius Carter is incredible. former 2-time Super 8 tournament winner. And
yeah, I know him.
all the
I
way to
said
the
it when
finals
you
of
were
it.
here last time on Memorial Day. I know him. He's always on the Warriors of Wrestling shows that come out here in Staten Island and sometimes at St. Finbar's in Brooklyn. I've seen his poster many times on there. I know him from Pro Wrestling Magic. I talk about it all the time. I interviewed Steve off 4.5 years ago, and Darius Carter was a big topic then. And he's a guy that's just been one of the most established wrestlers here in the tri-state area, number 150 in the PWI 500. The man has just had an unbelievable career, defeated guys all over the circuit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a guy like Carter, a guy like Jack Martins, who I truly believe will either get to WWE or will die
Just
trying.
wrestled Tank Talon in dog wrestling. I talked a lot
Yes.
about that when your stepson was here.
That is a guy with so much potential, such a great look and a great attitude. He's motivated, he's hungry, and every time I see an interview with him, he's like, I know exactly what I want. I want to be in WWE. I want to be at WrestleMania. I will not stop until I'm a Hall of Famer. And when you have a mindset like that, that's going to take you real far. For me to already have wrestled him the amount of times I have, it's phenomenal. And they were all from Matt Pro Wrestling. And now we have Sturdy Sal, trained by the world famous Cheeseburger, who I used to watch Cheeseburger 3 a.m. on my computer watching New Japan shows live. Cheeseburger teaming up with Jushin Thunder Liger. This is the same guy that after my match, you won't see this on camera. After my match in the semifinals of Matt Pro Wrestling, Cheeseburger came up to me and said, "I didn't know who you were before this tournament, and you're great." That's how he put it. He went, "You're great, and I'm glad I saw your match. I'm glad I know who you are now." That meant the world to me. That meant the absolute world to me. And for a guy that's training these phenomenal talents, Troy Locke was the one I wrestled that night.
You wrestled him in April, yeah, in the the April show for the semifinals.
That's right. And he will be just a little plug for him. He'll be wrestling for the Matt Pro Wrestling tag titles at this Encore event. So if you like Troy Locke, you're going to see something amazing from him. But to have that kind of pedigree, to already have won titles, I believe in Pennsylvania, maybe it was Delaware as well. I'm not quite sure. Maryland, somewhere around there. Sturdy Sal's had gold.
Yep.
Sturdy Sal's
won. His promo, he talked about.
Oh, yeah. He won a championship at a building called the the Falcon's Nest. That's a building I used to wrestle in like 7 years ago for a different promotion every single month. Now he's there. He's the man there. So I totally understand that. But this is Matt Pro Wrestling. This is my domain now. And I want the absolute best as the champion. And if that's not me, then I don't want to be the champion. It's as simple as that. But I am ready now more than I ever have been before. And
well, obviously, listen, you're going to have to do a lot to keep that championship. And there's no question that you've got your work cut out with Sturdy Sal. And he's certainly been accomplished. But I figured for a few minutes, I would put some of the matchup here. A hard cam angle from you and the one and only Darius Carter. By the way, if you're out there watching this, wherever you may be, please follow Matt Pro Wrestling on Instagram. Check them out also on X. You can also subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. And please support a company like this because we're all, I think, supportive of autism awareness, and everybody's impacted by something in some way or another. And especially here on Sportswire, where we have been all wrestling matters. To me, this is the quintessential example of all wrestling matters here. But obviously Darius is here. He has arrived, and I mean, you're about to get in the ring with what we talked about here on Memorial Day.
I think there needs to be some context brought up right now because as you can see, I'm laying in the middle of the ring, barely conscious right now. First of all, I want to mention how incredible this venue Matt Pro Wrestling has found. I don't believe a wrestling show has ever been held here before. Wow. This is a theater in Brick, New Jersey. It's the actual theater name is advertised on the Encore poster, but. I love this angle. There's multiple angles, by the way, if you want to watch this match. But this angle really showcases how beautiful this venue is. And this is the venue we will have at Encore.
You can see the crowd. Yeah, definitely theater vibe. You could definitely see. Reminds me, there was a company I used to work with in the UK that had almost a very identical look, Blackheart Wrestling, almost just to a T, the same setup that you have. But the context for the audience, you're on the ground, and it's not because of your intro, but something else happened before this.
So what you're seeing now, you think, oh, Radley's about to wrestle, the bell's about to ring. What's happened so far is this is about 22 minutes into my time being in the ring, because my goal at Matt Pro Wrestling originally was to be the Iron Man of Matt Pro Wrestling, and because I knew I was a great tag team wrestler, and I felt that through my time at GTS and a couple other places that I had also become a really good singles wrestler. I wanted to try both. I wanted to see if I was as good at singles wrestling as I was tag team wrestling. So I decided to be in both the tag team title tournament and grand championship tournament at the same time, which means in the quarterfinals, I won the tag team title match that night and the singles title match that night. We went on. I defeated Troy Locke. We also had a tag team main event, and I won that as well. I was wrestling 2 matches a night, every single Matt Pro show, and I was winning. I was doing the unthinkable. I don't know any other wrestler who's ever done this, where they went through 2 simultaneous tournaments and got to the finals.
Yeah, we were talking about this off the air, and I couldn't tell you.
It's possible.
Anybody that's come to mind, I mean, maybe somewhere, maybe in the NWA, 50 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, maybe, I guess. I mean, I can't think of anything in recent memory.
So what you're seeing here is the aftermath of the Matt Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championship Finals, which was obviously myself and Papa Bear taking on South Philly's finest.
Yes, we talked about that when you were here last. I remember
they are a phenomenal tag team. I give them nothing but absolute
3
respect.
Legacies Wrestling Tag Team Champions, right?
3. Oh yeah, they have multiple titles. I mean, I believe they've won at least a dozen.
I think I've seen them in EBW. Yeah, I definitely I've talked about them in other places.
I mean, right now they are technically also in the NWA. They were part of the Crockett Cup. That's phenomenal. And here they were wrestling us finals. And they're dirty fighters. We knew that they were dirty fighters. They fought dirtier than us. Obviously, we don't.
South Philly. I mean, listen, that's South Philly for you. I mean, listen, that's
we thought our wrestling would be stronger than their dirty fighting, and that was just not the case. What can you do to a low blow? What can you do to a cheap shot or 5 or 6?
No,
it was too much.
No.
So I got low blowed. I took the pin. I lost.
But Darius, look at what he's the veteran, right? He's had all this big stage primetime like experience, and you would think with the way you were down when this match started, he would have just beat you up and not do these kind of tactics from a veteran like him. He'd want to just go home and get the win and drive home safely, but instead, he's letting you hang around here.
It really makes me wonder if it wasn't Darius Carter, how this match would have gone. Because after I lost the tag title match, South Philly's finest celebrated by hitting me in the head with a baseball bat. Like good old Triple H with a sledgehammer. He got me right in the head with the baseball bat, right on the point, bam. And that's why I was on the ground. So if that hadn't happened, would Darius Carter have come in and tried to just win the match? I don't know. I think Darius wanted to say that he broke my spirit, that I didn't want to continue, that he had knocked me out, and that was not the case.
Well, he was talking. And interesting for those that haven't seen it. If you watch the match, he's talking throughout the match, almost just toying with you and talking about just your lack of being here, and almost you're beneath him, more or less.
And I understand the mindset, because this is the first time I've ever been in the finals of a major championship tournament. He doesn't know anything about me. This is the first time we've ever been in a ring together.
On social media, when I shared the clips, it was that was his reaction on social media when I shared these clips on Instagram and X.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like he didn't study me. He knew my moves and everything. But when he sees me on the ground, he knows I've never been a champion. This feels so beneath him. And he practically he practically wants me to never wrestle again. It's almost like I insulted him.
But this is
being in
almost
this
like a
match.
king kicking a peasant down. This is almost a master kicking down his slave. This is not Darius Carter, number 150 in the PWI 500. If I'm number 150 in the PWI 500, seeing what you went through, right? The prior match against South Philly's Finest, I would have just beat the living tar out of you and basically giving you no opportunity to win this. And I would have had this done. And like I would have said, drove home safely, especially if I'm number 150 on the PWI 500. That's to me why I'm surprised a man of his stature, a man of the caliber of his resume, went out and took this match lightly.
I don't know if he took it lightly as much as when he gave me that first kick. You'll see at the beginning of the video. He gave me the first kick. He thought that was my excuse to give up immediately and get out of there. And when I didn't do that, it insulted him so much that he was not going to stop beating me down until I was pretty much asking him to pin me. That's Darius Carter compared to other people. Other people would be so desperate to win the championship. They're so needy. For Darius, he saw this almost like Matt Pro should give me the title, so I'm giving them the prestige of having Darius Carter as the champion. And that was never the case for any of the other people in this tournament. All 10 of us in this tournament never thought that except for Darius Carter.
Well, there's Darius and the rest of you, with all due respect. I mean, I know here, you certainly carry a certain stature, but Darius Carter's, again, a man, I said it before. I talked about him 4.5 years ago when I had Steve off on here. He's a man, he's the one wrestler that I've seen on this platform talked about that I've actually seen his face on posters where I live. I get to talk to all these wrestlers that I don't see them in real life. Darius Carter's the one guy I've seen his face on a poster where I live. So he's a big deal. And I think that's kind of why he felt the way he felt.
Oh, yeah. And I totally understand why he felt that way. It's a lesson that I'm trying to remember against Sturdy Sal. Whether I think I'm better than Sturdy Sal or I think I'm more technically savvy than him or anything like that, I cannot underestimate Sturdy Sal. Right there, Darius Carter pulls me up from the pin. Yep. I couldn't even show that I could kick out. He pulled me up. So to the audience, to everyone around me, I might as well have been knocked out.
I see, and look at what he's doing. For those that get a chance, if you look at up close, he's almost playing with your face. He's touching you, and he's just almost, again, he wants to continue the onslaught. He doesn't want to get it over with, and he just wants to continue beating you down to almost teach you a lesson, more or less.
Oh, it was definitely trying to teach me a lesson. And I'll be honest, in a way, he did teach me a lesson. I dug deeper than I've ever dug in my entire wrestling career because I had to. Because what kind of man, what kind of wrestler, what kind of stepdad would I be if I was the guy that forever just gave up in the finals of the Matt Pro.
Well, this was the opportunity of a lifetime. This even goes back, which we'll get to, at the end of the show when it comes to the TF crew. Gabe talked about this, and I never forget him saying, "I want to see Rad Dad get a singles run, and I want to see Rad win major singles gold." And this is everything that you've won in your career. 9.5 years going into this. First time you stepped foot in a ring to train was 2009. So we're talking 16 years that you've built up this moment. You traveled cross country to be here years ago. I mean, you had no ties to anything, and you set up a new life here. This was what you've wanted. This is what you fought for, and you had to give it everything you had, even if you were down the way you were, to start this match, and against a man, like I said, that of his stature, being in the PWI 500, arguably one of the highest ranked wrestlers in the PWI 500, who's not a part of any of the major companies.
Yeah, I would still argue he's the best wrestler on the independent scene today who has not been signed to or being shown in a major promotion at all.
Yeah,
in my opinion, he's still phenomenal. It's a man, dressed up in royalty, the best of the best. He has the best training. He's wrestled the best opponents. He's had the best situations. I am the ultimate underdog who's overlooked. I am a journeyman. I did not come from the best schools. I have not had the red carpet rolled out for me in any situation here. And it's taken me this long to get here, but I still got here. Oh, the referee.
How about that? Now, how about that mistake that gives you a chance here? This is where the ref gets knocked out.
And that's the moment. That's the moment that changes everything from here. Darius knew that he could have tried so much harder to actually take me out. Instead, he wanted to break my spirit. And the one thing about me that everyone's starting to learn is that I have the unbreakable spirit of professional wrestling. That is what I'm trying to convey every single time I'm in the ring. Right there, stunner to Darius Carter.
Well, we got no ref. No, there's no ref. Where's the
referee? Ref? I'm not pulling Darius up here. This is it.
Almost. What's going through your mind there? You almost had him. You thought you had him. What's going through your mind there?
Two things. Stepdad stunner and a lot of pain is rushing through my mind. Remember, I'm exhausted. I'm essentially, I don't know exactly where we are in the match. I've probably wrestled over 40 minutes.
We're like past the 10-minute mark, if I recall.
Yeah, so I've wrestled somewhere around 35. Yeah,
we're at the 12-minute mark, so we're talking 30-plus minutes you've been in the ring.
Yeah, I am exhausted. Those are theater lights. Backstage, there was a casket sitting next to the entrance because it was a Beetlejuice production they were doing there. How ominous can you get? Oh, here we go.
And there we go. Wait, but...
Now, theoretically, that's a disqualification. I should probably win the title, but whatever.
Well, wait a minute. Not so fast.
Hold on.
So fast.
I guess we've both hit a referee at this point. This is completely out of control.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the one time Darius says, "Forget this. I need to win." That's what happens. He takes out the referee, and
that goes back to listen. Unlike a guy of his stature, he should have finished this the first 4 minutes. You were down and out, and all he had to do was just pile on. There was no chance for any offense from your level of where you were in the ring, and this would have been over. All she wrote. But again, he put himself in this position where now there's a level of doubt with the referee being down. Carter comes back, and he does what he does, but there's nobody here to count, and you're now getting...
That's the moment. Right there, when I put my hand on his foot, he realized I was not going to stop.
There was one level of adrenaline that you had left. You had something left in the tank, and now he's going back to the outside. He's looking for an object. He sees that championship belt.
He's got the championship.
He looks at it, and he's obviously looking to do something with it and use your skull is certainly a memento.
I know a referee's down. Obviously, I stunnered one of them. We only had 2 referees that entire night. So we are refereeless now in this company. The only other person that could do a cover...
wait a minute.
Is the owner.
That's Ray Mars. Not so fast, ladies and gentlemen. There is the owner of Matt Pro Wrestling, the one and only Ray Mars, a man that is certainly accomplished in his own right inside the ring, and he's been in there with the who's who of others, and he's fighting with Darius Carter there, and he pulls him aside. But wait a minute, roll up, and wait a minute. It looks like we need referee shirt. Wait a minute, is that Ray Mars putting on a referee shirt?
5, 6,
come on,
7, 8,
wait, come
9,
on. 1, 2, 3, ring the bell, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new Matt Pro Grand Champion, ladies and gentlemen. He's done the unthinkable. The legendary Radley Belmont has won his first singles championship of his legendary career. After 9.5 years as a singles and tag team wrestler, he has finally won his first singles championship and one of the most potent and important championships to any wrestler here around. The Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Championship. After what Rad Dad has went through tonight and what he's went through for months, Rad Dad can finally say, he is a champion, and he's a champion of a company that is truly what the message is of what Rad Dad Radley Belmont stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, the boyhood dream has been achieved because the stepdad can now call himself the Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Champion. The granddaddy of them all is now the grand champ of them all.
I've never thought about that before. The granddaddy. I absolutely have to use that in promos now.
Well, you don't look at the grays on your
Oh.
face. Don't look.
I mean, obviously, not only did I get to win the championship and everything, but I got the opportunity to embarrass Darius Carter. I had him down for a solid 10.
And there's the stepson. We talked about this on Sportswire when he was here. And ladies, boy, what a moment! There's Connor Schaefer.
I didn't want I didn't want my stepson. I didn't want
Papa Bear. There's Papa Bear. Papa Bear comes out.
Yeah.
And just what an emotional moment here. For those watching this here in Brick, New Jersey, and those are watching us here right now live on Sportswire Radio, we can see the significance of this. A man that has fought 16 plus years to be here. It may not have been the conventional way. It may not have been the long and easy road that he would have hoped, but he's here and he's made the most of it. And maybe he's had the most impactful victory of them all to win a championship like this by beating arguably the man that is the best wrestler out there, not a part of the major companies. This is, ladies and gentlemen, what it's all about. This is what this sport is all about. This man has put his blood, sweat, and tears out there to not only give us a voice, but now to call himself the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion. Oh, we are definitely living in a granddaddy era, in a datitude era. Oh, heck yeah.
Man, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is the absolute biggest win of my singles career in independent wrestling. As you know, 98%, maybe 99% of my independent wrestling career was as a tag team wrestler. And it was at the beginning of this tournament, maybe 6 months earlier, that I said, gosh darn it, I'm going to try this singles thing out because I think there's something here. I don't want to end my career 10, 20 years from now, whatever, and say, man, I wish I had tried to see how far I could go as a singles wrestler. And that doesn't mean a big breakup with Papa Bear. It doesn't mean anything like that. In fact, we brought our stepson into the fold.
Yep.
And it just got better for everyone. And people are telling me that Papa Bear was a little cold at the end there, just clapping and walking away. But I think that's just Papa Bear being Papa Bear. I don't think there's any animosity there.
I mean, he obviously knew the moment. He knew what this meant. And he didn't want to be right there with you because it was your moment. He didn't want to take away from what you just did and what it meant to you. And I think that's what it was.
I like to think that as well. So to me, the greatest night of my singles career, just really kind of in the middle, maybe even the beginning of the greatest summer of my singles career so far. And we are coming very close to the end of the summer now. I don't know if you want to call it the fall yet.
No, I'm a believer. Listen, I'm a believer. I know people say, summer ends on Labor Day. I believe really, I believe it or not, I go to October 15th. That's when I'm like, okay, it's over. Because I still believe there's warm weather days. And I'm not ready to leave the summer. It's definitely been a rad dad summer. That's for sure. It's been a rad summer, no question.
The summer of the granddaddy, let me tell you.
That's what it is. But you obviously had the moment of a lifetime. And you've got to fight like hell to keep that victory and to keep that emotion going. And obviously that's going to take place here coming up this Friday. You're going to have to do it again in an encore because Sturdy Sal he's coming for that championship. He's coming for it. And obviously you've already defended the championship once. You mentioned Jack Martins, and I'll certainly talk about him later. But I mean, I hope that you can continue this and bottle this rad daddy summer, rad grand daddy daddy summer of them all, and keep this going.
I absolutely agree. I'm so proud to be a part of this company. I welcome all challengers, and I don't want to just defend this title at Mat Pro. I'm more than willing to defend it anywhere across the independent wrestling world because this message of autism awareness needs to be spread, and I am so proud to be the man that helps spread that, along with Ray Mars, the promoter, along with his lady, and along with Matt, the promoter's brother, from which this company is named after.
Yes. No, there's no question. I am definitely 100% in the corner of Mat Pro Wrestling, and I'm all Wrestling Matters. And, I know I have to change gears for a bit and promote something else, but I do have something that I wanted to give you on behalf of Matt Pro Wrestling. And I know that I'm sure you could send this over to people because on this day, it is Matt Pro Wrestling Day. So I believe in the message of autism awareness. I believe that everybody should be out there, and it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, where you come from, and what level of skill you have. I believe that everybody should get an opportunity if you love this sport. And Matt Pro Wrestling certainly gets that message, and they get that message and represent it loud and clear. And that's why on all Sportswire radio platforms, it is Matt Pro Wrestling Day. So I'm sure you could give this to Mr. Mars, and I would hope that he would accept that.
I absolutely will, and I'll tell you right now, on behalf of Matt Pro Wrestling, as the grand champion, I thank you very much for that, Tom. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll certainly come back to Matt Pro Wrestling later. But, the reason you're actually here tonight, yes, TF Crew is sort of a part of that. I'll get to TF Crew at the end. That's a personal one. And I've been doing a lot of coverage for TF Crew and Gabe. We'll get to that later on. But, there was a guy last Friday that came on here named Caster. Now, Caster, we were standing up for greatness for him. And he obviously talked about a match he had kind of on the fly alongside a man that you'll be seeing next Sunday in Bristol, Connecticut, the Puerto Rican Prince Angel Santiago. You, speaking of a hard road to get to another championship belt you'd like to have, you've certainly done that. We'll talk about that in a little while, but we had a lot to say about Pure Vanguard Wrestling, and I had noticed that, certainly Caster had a few things to say, but I had also noticed that you've had your hands full there, and you're going to be on the run coming up on October the 11th. But I did want to maybe remind you of what happened and kind of the reason you might be on the run the last time you were there over in Pure Vanguard Wrestling a few weeks ago. As a matter of fact, it was the last time you were there, and I've put it up here because we're about to see the fallout from that, and we're seeing right now in the ring our Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion, Randy Shawn, and he's definitely getting, let's just say a beatdown like no other. But wait a minute, we're obviously seeing something else come into play, and I mean, it's all about to go down here. It's all about to go down, and another long, winding road you're about to be on, and I mean, set the tables.
Well, right now, unfortunately, the man in the ring right now is the Pure Vanguard Wrestling heavyweight champion, Randy Shawn. He just defended his championship in the main event, a title which my understanding is will soon be defended in Canada. Maybe is already as of this weekend. I'm not quite sure, but soon will be defended outside of the country, making it, in some people's minds, a legitimate world travel championship.
I would say
how I feel about that.
So. And wait a minute, but I see you in the same shirt you were wearing. Boy, what a way to promote that. And we see Papa Bear, and you guys have come out and you guys are doing a number here. You're trying to even the odds a bit on the Empire, it looks like.
Randy Shawn, and we goes way back with us. We wrestled him a few years ago. Wade here used to watch him as a fan. I don't even know, 15 years ago, something like that. I don't want to make him sound old, but Randy Shawn's awesome, fantastic champion. So he gets jumped by all these people who, out of nowhere, like the most unlikeliest of groups, forms some sort of alliance of people, and we'll see who's the mastermind behind all of that. They try to make anarchy at this Pure Vanguard Wrestling event. So, of course, we're going to go out and help Randy Shawn. We're going to help try to keep some order here at Pure Vanguard Wrestling. This is a company that's very old school minded. I'm talking triple threat matches where there is disqualifications, and you will be eliminated from the match if you're disqualified in a triple threat match.
Well, you certainly couldn't be. You couldn't get a disqualification after getting hit with that crutch there because it was after the match. So there's nothing anybody can do with the rules.
Of course, our matches are over. The show is technically over, and here these people come out and they beat the snot out of us with weapons. They couldn't take us on head on. They couldn't compete with us in the match.
And look at just what we're seeing here.
Oh,
even the referee gets it.
The referee gets it. He's not a trained pro wrestler. He took a knee right to the skull. I saw the photos later. They were not great. And this is the man behind it all. Dan DeMan creates an empire here at Pure Vanguard Wrestling, ringing the bell. Oh, yeah, we're calling for help. No, we're not. It's Dan DeMan playing mind games yet again. Once again, a thorn in the stepdad's side. We've dealt with him before, but it was never to this level. This is ridiculous. This is pure anarchy. No athletic state commissioner is going to allow something like this.
They're building an empire. You might want to say, to steal a phrase, what they used to call the New York Yankees, they're building an evil empire. They're building an evil empire here to take what's rightfully theirs.
There's no doubt about it that there's an evil empire, and it's not rightfully theirs. They haven't won anything. They haven't, and now they definitely haven't won the respect of the crowd. These people, like, you see them standing out there. They don't even know what's happening.
Well, I
got hit with a crutch so bad. I had a terrible.
You're in a world of hurt right now. Almost like what I just saw 20 minutes ago.
I mean that the chair shots, definitely go back, folks, and watch the video, but listen to the audio. The chair shots sounded like thunder. I got hit in the back so hard. I had bruises on my back for the next 2-3 days. I still had a mark all the way till the end of the week. It was so brutal. And here we go.
You asked for it. I mean, you asked for your own pain.
It's something that I'm gonna think about every day.
Well, I'm used to that. I had a shotgun go off in my mouth on Wednesday at the dentist, so I can definitely say I can relate to the pain. Yeah, we need medical attention. We need someone to stop this, and that's not happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Because even the ref is getting it. Let's just say the ref is definitely pushing one for the team. This is an onslaught, ladies and gentlemen. This has gotten out of hand. This is going way too far. This is just debauchery. This is just chaos is unfolded here. It descended upon Pure Vanguard Wrestling, and yeah, ring the bell, but there's no bell. And this is why Dan DeMan is here, because he's built an empire, an evil empire, some would say, to take what's rightfully theirs. And yeah, we can see him coming into the ring, but all of what's left is just the empire to stand tall.
I haven't watched this footage since it was released. I saw it when it came out, but I don't have to see it. I think about it every single day.
You got nightmares. You got PTSD, I'm sure, from this. You've got, certainly some. You're gonna have more of that tonight. I apologize.
I mean, I'm just going to say, hopefully, I'm pretty sure I'll be healed up by September 5th. I don't want to think about
Friday, man. That's Friday. You are. It's been a rad dad summer, no question, but you are the granddaddy, but you better be healed. Because there's an empire there that's just...
He got me right in the lower back, too, and I was having trouble walking the next day. I'll be fine by September 5th, I think I'll be fine. But
I hope you'll be fine, certainly, for October 11th, because, I received word, there was obviously some talk of you coming on here tonight on Sportzwire Radio. And, since we saw this footage of what happened between yourself and Papa Bear and our Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion, Randy Shawn, and this empire being formed, I had received word here, and I had received a message that I hope that we can certainly convey on the air, and I hope that you'll pay attention to this, because our head of talent relations in Pure Vanguard Wrestling, Nick Mitchell, you might know the name. I'm sure you definitely know the name, and he wanted to relay this message to you that coming up on October 11th, when you and Papa Bear return here, and, well, there's going to be nowhere to run. Nowhere to run for the empire, because it's going to be you, Papa Bear Wade Kruger, and how about the reigning, defending, Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion Randy Shawn, and we're going to see if you guys can get your get back, and if the empire will have nowhere to run, because now it's official, ladies and gentlemen, October 11th, the next Pure Vanguard Wrestling show where you're going to see the stepdads. They'll be in action, 6-man tag alongside our Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion, Randy Shawn, against the Empire.
That is incredible news. What did I tell you about Pure Vanguard Wrestling? They're always a step ahead. Dog, always a step ahead. Everyone there, they're not going to let the chaos reign. They're never going to let the chaos reign. The Empire might try to strike again, but we're going to make them fall again. I'll tell you that right now. And I can't speak for Randy Shawn. Maybe he's out there for revenge. We're not coming for revenge. The stepdads are coming for justice. And we will have justice October 11th. I guarantee it.
You know, it may not be the Empire Strikes Back, but rather maybe a return of the Jedi. A return of the Jedi in the stepdads alongside the reigning defending Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion Randy Shawn. Yeah, I think that's going to definitely take place here coming up on October the 11th. And if you want to certainly see some more footage of what's out there in the world of Pure Vanguard Wrestling, I got a couple of ways for you. You can do that. First of all, hit the sub button on YouTube where you can see some Pure Vanguard Wrestling content. You want to follow them on Instagram? Here, you got that link up. There's a number of ways you can get in touch with Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Facebook, definitely join them. X, you can join them. You can pretty much join them anywhere and everywhere because, well, we're going to find out who's got nowhere to run because that's the poster. It's going to take place here coming up on October the 11th, just a few days right after my birthday. And, of course, Bristol, Connecticut. And why is Bristol, Connecticut known for so many people? Because, well, that's the home of, well, the worldwide leader of sports, but the worldwide leader of wrestling is also in Bristol, Connecticut with Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And we're going to see, as I stated, those stepdads. It includes our guest here tonight, Rad Dad Radley Belmont, alongside Papa Bear Wade Kruger against the one and only Randy Shawn with and against the Empire. You can see that here coming up, and go follow Pure Vanguard Wrestling on Instagram. That's the poster. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that before October the 11th. And like I said, one more time, it's official. The stepdads and the reigning defending Pure Vanguard Wrestling champion Randy Shawn look for their get back. They will see a return of the Jedi as they look to strike that evil Empire. And we'll see that 6-man tag here coming up on October the 11th.
Man, Tom, you made my night, my friend. You have made my night. What an awesome announcement. Pure Vanguard Wrestling is a company to keep an eye on for sure. They've been around over a year already. Their champion is defending in multiple countries now. This is a company to keep your eyes on, folks, and we're going to make sure that it's action-packed excitement, but we're also going to do it our way, the old school style.
Well, we're going to certainly be talking a lot more about that. Like I said, follow them on Instagram, follow them on YouTube, follow them on Facebook, anywhere on social media. Definitely check out Pure Vanguard Wrestling because we've seen some of our favorites like Gabe Sayers, like Castor, who you wrestled in the ring and defeated, and like Angel Santiago, who we'll definitely be talking a lot about in a little while. But please follow Pure Vanguard Wrestling. But, I'm not done when it comes to giving things, and especially when it comes to the world of Pure Vanguard Wrestling, because only I can do this because it's 2 for the price of 1 day. It's also Pure Vanguard Wrestling Day on Sportswire Radio. So there you go. So I will certainly give you this as well. And I'm sure that the good people in Bristol, Connecticut can take this and you can be the recipient to give to them. And on all the platforms, it's also Pure Vanguard Wrestling Day. So there you have it.
Man, Tom, 2 for the price of 1. I'm telling you, man, this is a phenomenal day of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I did, actually it was the Stompers who shared it on Facebook. It was Richie Blanco who said, today's a great day for professional wrestling. I shared it on Facebook and people were like, they were actually giving me the thumbs up. So I figured, why not join in? And yeah, it's Pure Vanguard Wrestling Day also on Sportswire Radio. And they've definitely done a lot of good things. They did the Boys and Girls Club and they done some of the shows out there with them. And you'll see some of your favorites on Sportswire Radio there. So, yeah, check them out, and we'll, I'm sure, have plenty more coverage of them. So there you go. I'll take that off the screen, and maybe we'll get to the chat now. Let's get to the chat. I want to talk about a couple of other things on the other side of the chat. We got a lot of people who want to talk to you. Let me do that, and yeah. Speaking of people, by the way, that I heard got married today, Chase Wakefield, he got married. Yes, he got married. And I saw some people sharing photos on Facebook. He wanted to say good evening. And obviously, Mr. Wakefield will be sharing more details of his Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational. And we'll be, I'm sure, talking about that in the coming weeks. And congratulations and good evening, gentlemen. And thank you, Chase, for being here. And he's exhausted. So obviously, he's going to feel like that he took on the Empire. But the only difference is that he's living in the same roof as his beautiful and better other half. So now at this point, he just basically has to go along with that. Hopefully your marriage doesn't turn out like Al Bundy's marriage. Let's just hope for your sake.
Let's just hope his marriage also isn't nowhere to run.
That's true. You know what? That is a great segue. That's why we support Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And this guy has been waiting, and he was almost facetious about this. And he said, "Oh, when did this just pop up?" Mr. Sean Jovi, the All Wrestling Matters archives man. I will put his YouTube link up in a little while. And he also said this is going to be good. And he's got a few comments. We'll get to them. And yes, maybe that's a good way to segue. Obviously, everybody always, when you come on here, wants to talk about the GBYWN. Obviously, we know what you did, wrestling and hosting and letting all the world know about so many people and companies that were a part of that. But, what's going on these days with the GBYWN? We know you guys aren't dead after last year, but, what's going on these days with the GBYWN? After all, you're the man at the top of it.
Well, for those who don't know, I am the GBYWN World Champion. And even though this was my first major independent wrestling championship, defeating Darius Carter, last year I won my first, let's say, underground wrestling, unsanctioned wrestling world championship. And we're talking about a championship represented by names like, I don't know, Ring of Honor World Television Champion Tony Deppen. How about
I heard of him.
How about AR Fox knows who I am because of my old yard days? Let's talk about Matt Nix. If you don't know who that is, he's a freelance wrestling promoter. Also wrestled Cody Rhodes on Dynamite and got his name chanted over Cody. Former GBYWN World Champion. Now we're talking about Alex Zane, who not only wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but was also in Ring of Honor. And, I know. How about, let's see, what can we say? How about Will Ospreay?
I heard of that guy, yeah.
Who once wrestled for the GBYWN World title when the title was being defended in the UK. This title has been in the UK and Canada, all over the United States. I wrestled for it in Salt Lake City, and I have it now here in New Jersey.
Wow, you went from Salt Lake City to Jersey. Wow,
and it was even recognized in Australia as well. So a very prestigious title, in my opinion. And if you ever see anything go viral with an underground wrestling match that looks a little old, something crazy like a tombstone pile driver being German suplexed into another tombstone pile driver, that was from this company, from this alliance.
Yeah, and how about this other guy, this guy Matt DeMorris? So what about him? That's a guy a lot of people, rave about also.
Matt DeMorris, I'd argue the most influential backyard wrestler of the last 20 years, 25
Absolutely.
years.
No, listen, Chase Wakefield, we talked a lot about him. Him. That was a big inspiration. Yeah, the best in the yard is tomorrow. And you ask the guys in VTW. That's, a big thing for sure.
Men like Sammy Guevara have gone on Twitter and publicly said that Matt DeMorris inspired him. Donovan Dijak was inspired by Matt DeMorris. Many, many more than I don't want to drop names of on here. People know about the GBYWN. Maybe if you don't, your favorite wrestler most likely does. And that's a huge honor to represent that in its legacy with this championship. And even though there's not as many shows as there used to be, we still have a reunion here and there, which is where I won the championship. There was another reunion I highly recommend you check out called Backyard Gathering 8. That happened just a couple months ago. I attended the event, but I did not defend the title, unfortunately. I had some terrible skin issues.
Listen, I think you can get a pass on that. Yeah,
I am as white as a ghost, yet I lived in Las Vegas for 16 years. That is because I cannot get a tan.
Wow. Okay. The irony of that.
I talked to Monster Mac 2 weeks ago about that. He go, brother, you need a tan. And I said, I cannot get a tan This is me.
Listen, I'm as white as you, and I don't know. Maybe a couple of times in my life I've had a tan. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I feel your pain.
I cannot get a tan. My mother has had skin cancer twice. We are a family that cannot get a tan. I'm sorry.
Well, at least she's overcome some of that.
But that being said, I still like to talk about backyard wrestling, the underground wrestling scene in the old days. These people that did phenomenal stuff, and we want to remember them. What are we if not historians preserving wrestling as much as we can? At least I like to do that. And I know you, Tom, you've talked to hundreds of people at this point, maybe more, to preserve their histories throughout the years in your underground scene, professional scene, music scene, all the above, the UK wrestling scene. Yeah. So we've announced this a long time ago. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do it because of the craziness that is the independent wrestling world and everything going on in real life, which is always important as well. Sure. But I love to re-announce that Sick Rick and I will.
Sick Rick, I know him.
Oh yeah, Sick Rick, who hosted the previous reunion show last year. A huge part of our community.
Absolutely,
a man that held the entire Midwest together in our heyday. We love him to death. Everyone loves him.
Great guy.
Sick Rick and I have decided that very soon we are going to start a brand new podcast.
Whoa!
It is not just an audio podcast. We'll be talking just like this. But don't worry, Bryce. We're not going to step on your toes.
No, you can step. The dentist took a shotgun in my mouth. Maybe it's time for me. I got one shotgun in the mouth. Maybe it's time for the right one. No, you guys can take over. Listen, I mean, I'm ready. I mean, at this point, it took a lot to do that intro. So, I mean, by all means, you and Sick Rick, I mean, I think a lot of people, Jovi would be here 24/7. A lot of other people would be here 24/7. They're sick of the mutton chops. They're sick of the hair.
Come on.
They're sick of the intro. They would love to see you guys on here.
There is only one Sportswire Radio, and there's only one Reverend Tom Bryce. On the number one.
My little niece was actually mimicking the intro yesterday. I was like, I didn't realize people. Yeah, so there's people that they watch it, but it's exciting news. So you guys are going to start a podcast, which is going to be right here on the YouTube channel of Golden Triangle Media. I would encourage everybody to hit the sub button for them. And I even do hear from a birdie that technically, I'm going to say it, I'm pretty sure I gave you guys access to my account so you could connect to your channel there. So technically, I did pass some baton to you, but that's exciting because you guys have a lot of insight that, yes, I do my best, and, but I wasn't there those years ago. I don't have that physical experience. So I think it's great for those of us that are interested in the history and those of us that are interested in learning about some of the different people that, like you said, you talked about the Ospreys, you talked about the Tony Deppins and all these different other wrestlers, Jordan Oliver, who's now out there. We just seen all these different places, all those people that have been a part of the GBYW and, Sammy Guevara that was, interested in following, all these other great talents that have gone on and done bigger and better things. You guys can tell us a little bit about them and those experiences. And I think that that's something that all of us should be excited about. I know we'll tune into.
Absolutely. And I've done 2 podcasts in the past. I've always wanted to do podcasts that are unique that I know nobody else is really going to do or can do in some scenarios. And thanks to you, Tom, I like to think of us as a spiritual partner here in this thing, a sister promotion, whatever you want to call it. In this, we're side by side. We're not going to dance on each other's toes or nothing.
Yeah, you could dance on my toes. Listen, the dentist already did on my mouth. So you can do the toes. I mean, it's,
But either way, I'd say about 10 years ago, I did a GBYWN podcast where I interviewed wrestlers on the spot, like as these events were happening.
That's pretty cool, though. I get asked a lot about that. I was at a party yesterday. People asked
that was phenomenal because it was in real time talking to these people about why they were wrestling, what they were doing. Really interesting stories. I never talked about myself, though, and that's something that I'm definitely going to get into more. Not that I'm making it about me, but I want to bring my insight as an overseer, if you want to call it that, as a historian of the GBYWN era. And Rick, who is very much a historian of the BYW Link era, the previous generation, that's 2 generations. We both have a lot of information about that stuff. By the way, if you're wondering, the other podcast I did was called Thunder Buddies, and was where we Mystery Science Theatered episodes of WCW Thunder, and it might be the one of the worst shows of all time. But
no, I do remember watching WCW Thunder growing up. If you want to know something, I had the video game on PlayStation. I remember WCW.
We did go over that, but yeah, that podcast was only
that's out there. Send me the link because I would actually want to actually watch that because I remember playing WCW Thunder on PlayStation. I remember, and I had the WCW trading cards. I had the WCW cards from Topps. I went out. There was a store, in Brooklyn, where I grew up on Fifth. It was Third Avenue and 82nd Street, and Fifth Avenue and 80th Street. I would go and buy those trading cards.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome! I was a big trading card guy in the '90s for sure. We can talk about that someday. But Papa Bear and I actually reviewed episodes of Thunder. We talked anything Thunder related. We talked about. We watched episodes. Which is why
I give you a lot of credit because there was some really bad episodes of Thunder, especially in the year 2000.
You'd be shocked to know. I think we got to like episode 56 or something. We got really far.
So you got to.
We did not get to the Russo era.
No, you probably would have got to like the in between where maybe right before Bischoff gets fired, right?
56,
right?
Yep. And it was so bad. We used to have a counter to see which. The first time a main event didn't end in a disqualification.
Oh, God. They used to always end in disqualification.
I think the first match that ended with a pinfall in the main event was like episode 12. And then after that, it was like 27 or something.
It was always like an NWO member in a main event, but you didn't get like Hogan in a main event. You'd get like a quasi-competitive main event match. It was just...
I legitimately think doing Thunder Buddies like made Wade less of a wrestling fan for a really long time. It was an awful... This was during COVID. It was an awful, awful time to do that podcast.
I did podcasting during COVID, so I understand.
Thunder was so rough. But to do this now... with Sick Rick is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to bring up a lot of subjects. Every episode will be, different subjects, different wrestlers talking about our memories, what they're doing. Obviously, the first couple episodes might just be a lot about Rick's career and mine. Obviously, we know the most about that. But my career ties into like everybody. Rick's career ties into a lot of people until his end. And it's some people I didn't connect with early on as well. So it's a nice little timeline from before I moved into the Northeast, and then after that I'm very excited about. And I should probably get the name of this podcast right.
I mean, as much as I can plug it on YouTube, I think there's people out there that would like to know what this is, when, where, and what.
So on the Golden Triangle Media YouTube channel, we've thought so much about different podcast names. And we're still not 100% certain, but tonight we're going to give our subject to change name. And if the people love it, if you guys like it, let us know. If you like it, let us know if you don't like it, if you think it's corny and stupid. But for now, as of this moment, we are naming the Rad Hazard Sick Rick podcast.
Whoa!
Yard Times, Daddy, Yard Times. That's going to be the name of it.
That sounds just almost a WCW show waiting to be out there. Only GBYWN related. So that's quite the thing there. And you can see that on the Golden Triangle Media YouTube channel. You can see that either there. Also, please sub to Golden Triangle Media. Sick Rick has been here on multiple occasions.
Oh, yeah.
And I would highly encourage that you support them. And I do want to go bump up somebody here in the chat because my buddy Hubie Jenkins wants to say, who's become a regular here, who's back on Sportswire next Tuesday out of Ohio, wanted to say that he's posted some clips in the past of the EWA on the GBYW when it was on MySpace. I was about to say Facebook and MySpace. And that's a little before my time, but there you go. I mean, the MySpace era when Tom was running MySpace. Yeah, that guy, and apparently that's what Hubie Jenkins is saying. So there you go. The EWA was around.
To be honest, the first time I ever found a GBYWN promotion that I could actually travel to, it was through MySpace.
Oh, wow.
So without MySpace, I might have known about it and posted it on the forum, but I don't know if I ever would have been able to figure it out and find it and everything. And I did because of MySpace.
Wow. I mean, is MySpace still around? Did they like just take the site down? I wonder if somebody
So
could
my
answer.
understanding is they did like a clean reboot like 10
They
years
did?
ago. So anybody's account, like my account, is gone, but
Yeah.
they are still around. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there'll be some GBYWN content out there. I don't know, but hit the
Possible.
sub button for the EWA in the meantime. Maybe some of that content from there is on there, and you can check out some of that footage, and
Look
we'll
at that.
have
Look at
more
this.
content for you.
Yard times,
Well,
baby.
I tell you what, it's not going to be. It's going to be a yard time. It's going to be a yard full of a time to watch it. I was trying to think of the right word on the fly, and it's going to be a yard full of a time to watch it. So I'm excited about that, and I got a lot more comments. So let me get to them. So let me see the. Thank you, Zilla. Zilla wanted to say hello to you. Zilla wanted to say hello to Sean Jovi and myself. I put some comments in because I started the show early. I put the link up early today because I was excited about this. And Hubie said fantasy football Saturday. Well, I'm glad you're here still while doing your fantasy football. And I'm envious of you, Rad, drinking soda because I haven't had a soda since Tuesday and I'm addicted to soda. I mean, I've
Coke
had
Zero.
Mountain
Coke
Dew.
Zero, by the way.
Okay, but I can't because of my mouth. I can have like 7-Up and Mountain Dew, but it's not the same. I'm going to try tomorrow, although I don't think I should, but we'll see. I want to say hello to Princess Jade, who's obviously going to be here definitely next Thursday when this guy Justin Parsley shows up because that's who's on her photo. But she does call me the greatest interview station of all time, and now she's learning to do interviewing. She's in school, and she just interviewed some of the guys that come on here, like her uncle.
I got to say, the more podcasts, the better. Whether it's about pro wrestling, about independent wrestling, about your local backyard company, I don't care what it is. If you want to do a podcast, just do it. And if it sucks, keep doing it until it's better. I want to see a million podcasters out there.
Yes,
I love doing interviews. Wrestlers love doing interviews. Just ask people, do it.
I think with Sportswire, I just want to respectfully interrupt and say, I think with Sportswire, when you come on here, though, it's not like we don't like, it's like there are podcasters that will like, hey, you're a wrestler, I want to interview you. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't really know who you are. But I think everyone who comes on here, I do think it's kind of special because there's like, it's kind of like almost like a word of mouth, but it's like everyone you come here, that I know you or me. Like anytime I get somebody on, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I know him.
I absolutely agree. That's what I'm saying. Stick to the thing you know. Stick to the thing you like. If it's a local promotion and you know them, contact them. If one of them says, "Yeah, come on," like know your stuff.
Yeah,
but don't stop trying.
Absolutely. No, listen. I mean, listen. If I'm doing it, everybody else should. And yes, I'm doing a little better. Who else we got? Thank you. Glad it went well. Jovi is definitely hyped. I was talking to him off the air. Hello to Sean Jovi. She knows Sean Jovi. She sees him every month in the IMF shows. So she knows Sean Jovi. She actually knows him. And yep. And Jovi was like wanting me to go on like an hour and a half early, and I wasn't ready yet still. So I was ready, but not that ready.
Sean Jovi sent me a message earlier that I didn't get to listen to as a voice chat. So it's probably like, Rod, I can't wait to see you. And I'm like, So now I'm going to hear that later and feel bad that I didn't get back to him.
Well, I mean, apparently he's been doing Mario painting, by the way. He's actually become a Mario painter. Yeah, I mean, he's really good at it. He's a lot better than I would be at a painting. And that's why he's on YouTube. And give him a sub. He's out there. He's got a lot of different videos, and he's really good at Mario painting, which is something I could never figure out. But I did see plenty of my painted blood in my mouth. But let's not talk about that because that'll will bore everybody. But let's get to some more comments. You have a lot of them. Who else we got here? We got. I think I just missed one. I will definitely, for a minute here, I want to talk about GTS. I got to say hello to GTS Universe, always sharing my content. And, one company that we're not going to see you in much longer is GTS. I spoke a little bit about GTS with Gabe and Castor. They've been here recently, but we talked last, and we knew that the minute you would lose in GTS would be the end of your career, and you wound up losing into somebody that you've wrestled, who we've talked about here on this platform in the past. You want to talk about it for a few minutes?
Yeah, let's take a second real quick because I am very proud of my 2025 in GTS. I was a 3-time GTS legendary YouTube champion. I defeated Grimm. I won the Regal Rumble the highest viewed video in GTS in well over a year. I think it's around 90-something thousand views. I got to win the Rumble, last defeating Grimm. I mean, that is like what every GTS fan wants to do. Like when they go, I want to win the title. I'm going to win the title by beating Grimm in the end of the Rumble. Well, I did that. I want to main event Grimmomania against Grimm for the championship. Like, how can you get bigger than that? I did that. Yeah. I got to do these amazing things and have these amazing moments. And I will forever cherish that, because without that title reign, without my longest Intercontinental title reign of all time, and then the second longest of all time as well, I got to become a fantastic singles wrestler that allowed me to push myself to these limits of becoming the grand champion. Unfortunately, after losing the YouTube championship for a third time, I decided to put my career, my GTS contract on the line. And I said, the next time I lose a match, I will quit GTS. That is me putting my standards and the height of my ability on the line, because I will then have everything to lose. And Tom, I've said this a million times. People say, oh, I got nothing to lose. I think the most dangerous person in the world is the man or woman with everything.
Second time this came up on Sportswire this week. This is the second time I've heard this on Sportswire.
So I became the Intercontinental Champion at GTS Brewery Brawl, the very first solo GTS live event.
Great. We spoke about that. Yep.
300 people. Spot tickets. We're at the show. Watch me win the title against Jimmy Controversy.
Yep, we watched that match here on Sportswire. We watched that match.
And next defeated Isaac Scythe, and then it was on to Aris Spiral. Aris Spiral defeated Jamie Senegal to get this title shot.
You've been in the ring with her before in other places, by the way. We've talked about her here with you in the past.
And then here we were, steel cage, because I said to Aris, I'm putting my career on the line. You're putting nothing on the line. I need to see proof that you are putting everything on the line here. And she said, all right, I'll wrestle you in a steel cage. She's never been in a steel cage before. I knew that meant she was deadly serious. We had this match, Sucka Slam, the main event of that night's event. Sucka Slam, steel cage, Intercontinental Championship. She DDT'd me through a table. We hit each other with our finishing moves. We hit each other with all sorts of crazy stuff. And then at the end, what happens? She puts a chair around my neck and gives me her camel clutch until I passed out. There's nothing I can say other than I am not a hardcore wrestler. No. And she out-hardcored me that night. She used weapons to her advantage in a way that I never knew how to do. Be honest, I'm a wrestler. And she out-weaponed me. I shouldn't have played that game. I shouldn't have. But I knew that for me to prove myself, I had to beat her at her own game. And I couldn't do that night. And that's not something I feel bad about at all. I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of Aris Spiral for what she did that night and her career in general. She went from nothing to becoming the GTS Intercontinental Champion. And so I did quit that night. Luckily, I got to say goodbye to everyone who I had deep relationship with there, including Tanner Wilson, including Jungle Jim Wilder, two men that I...
you were going to, in TF Crew, by the way, you teamed up with the Heroes of the Night and alongside Mr. Doc Holliday, another man you've got a past with.
Exactly. And Jim Wilder was a huge part of that night at TF Crew, helping me in that 6-man tag, which allowed me to get this title shot coming up next Sunday. So having them there for my final match, when I knew without those two, I probably would have never even been in GTS as a singles wrestler. That's true. I don't think that would have happened without their support at the very beginning. So to have it at the very end meant the world to me. And I will miss GTS. I will miss, having that rocket strap in my back and showing the world what a stepdad can really do in a hardcore world. A man who believes in wrestling and morals against, essentially chaos and anarchy and trying to control it all. The spill.
You were on that rocket ship. You were launched with it, and you did a lot there in GTS, and there's no question that you found a way to be as successful as you were in that huge vacuum there that is GTS, number 7 in terms of wrestling companies. Obviously, we talked about the match you and Jimmy Controversy had and just what you went through and, your wars with Grimm and just what we did. And we saw that, the Datitude Era went through GTS, and the Datitude Era certainly lived, and definitely no shame in losing here the way you did. But that's just the wrap on your run in GTS.
Absolutely. And the Datitude Era comes and goes in waves. It's always there, but sometimes it leaves one company and enters another. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. We all know that. But the Datitude Era at GTS is over. I was essentially the ultimate anti-GTS wrestler of GTS. And I still made it to the top, and I showed everyone.
And I thought it was funny. By the way, I found it somewhere that you were at a picture with Raina Black. There was a GTS segment, and I know Raina Black. I was like, boy, it is a small world. Yeah, you're the antithesis of Raina Black. My friend Raina Black, who I know very well, Raina Black. I was like, oh, I got to tell her that on Facebook. Next time.
Absolutely. So, so that's it. I've been asked multiple times, like, will you come back to GTS? Do you, like, when are you coming back?
Well, everybody does. Right? I mean, everybody finds a way. Nobody's permanently dead. Everybody says, "Oh, the spiel." I mean, everybody quits and everybody says this, and they come back again. I mean, you know how it goes.
I know. And Jimmy Controversy lost a loser leaves GTS match against me, and he did come back. He came back.
It was in the hardcore title situation. He lost. Yes.
So I'll tell you right now, I promise this to everybody there. I promise this. I'm not coming back as a GTS contracted wrestler. You're never going to see me talk about, I'm a GTS guy. Here I am. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to stick to it's like Shawn Michaels retiring. Should have just retired.
I know that one match. I know people kind of glance, but he still came back for that one match, and so the bald head against Kane and the Undertaker, and Saudi Arabia, and it wasn't.
And the gear I'm wearing right here is the blue gear. I was wearing that at the end of my run here because that's the same color gear Ric Flair had during his retirement run at WWE, and I'm still sticking to that. In my opinion, I will never be a GTS wrestler again. And I'm okay with that because I had an amazing run. And to be honest, I'm really excited for the future because I have this championship on my shoulder that I already said to the world, I'm representing Matt Pro Wrestling, and I'll go to every wrestling company there is to defend this and represent Matt Pro Wrestling. I'm very excited about the future as champion.
Me too, and I'm very excited about Matt Pro Wrestling, and it is Matt Pro Wrestling Day on Sportswire, and definitely you had an amazing run in GTS, and there's no question what you did in GTS speaks volumes, and there's no question that I think a lot of people will definitely remember what you did there, and I think that'll live on for a very long time, and I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it because it's all about surprises here tonight, because I've decided to put you in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for a second time, but this time as an inspirational figure, because I believe what you've done in representing Matt Pro Wrestling and autism awareness. I think the message of Pure Vanguard Wrestling, the boys and girls clubs out there, being a part of that. I think what you've talked about every time you come on here, the way you represent the sport of wrestling. And I see my hall monitor here, Justin Parsley, and I'm sure he's going to approve this, but I think it's time to put you in the Hall of Fame for a second time. And spoiler alert, I didn't tell you that. So congratulations. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. No, I definitely didn't know that was going to happen. Holy cow. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is I never thought I would even be a professional wrestler. I never thought that. I thought that was, I would sit outside the guardrail and look at I remember the first time I touched a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
It felt like I was like doing something illegal, like I wasn't supposed to be doing it, I was actually at a Cauliflower Alley show, believe it or not. In Las Vegas. And the main event just ended. Chris Hero. I want to say Chris Hero wrestled for the NWA Heritage Championship or something like that. By the way, Chris Hero, former GBYWN era wrestler. We'll get into that in the podcast. But and so I touched the ring ropes and hit the mat, and I was like, wow, I think I did something illegal. I better get out of here, kind of thing. I never thought I would be in this situation. I didn't think a guy like me, 5'9", 185, white as a ghost, should be anywhere near a wrestling ring. And then it really was just one thing came to another, and I was always willing to learn and do as much as I could to be there. I wanted to be there, and even though I didn't think I was going to be the next Roman Reigns or anything, I wanted to be the best Radley Belmont I could be. And as long as I was better this month than I was last month, as long as I, every time I made a mistake in the ring, I said, I'm never going to make that mistake again. And I trained, I did whatever I needed to do to never have that happen to me again. That's how you improve, man. Like it's something I didn't even think about. I just wanted to be the best I could be of myself. And that reflected on everything else in my life. I moved across the country to the Northeast because of professional wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big gamble in itself. I mean, there's a guy, Mickey Vargas, that just did the thing in reverse. He went from here in New York, in Buffalo, and moved to Texas because of wrestling. He wants to be a professional wrestler. And I think that's just, you talk about it here all the time when you're on here. Most of your friends come from wrestling. And I think that's, a big statement.
Yeah. 99% of the people in my life come from wrestling. And it all comes from the passion I have for what I love. I want everyone to have something like that. If your passion is comic books, which is also a passion of mine, if it's art, if it's biking, if it's football, whatever, as long as it's not illegal, I want you to have that passion. I want you to do something with it.
Yeah,
I want you to harness it. And you're not going to make $1 million, and you're not going to become a rock star overnight, and you're not.
Yeah, that's a great point that you made, because I have had on the rock stars, and people, even the rock stars, I ask them all the time. I say, you have any advice? And they say, well, you're not going to be a millionaire. It's funny that you said the same thing that I've had the rock stars on. I've had Mark Farner of Grand Funk Railroad. I've had all these, big, hard rock bands, and they say you're not going to be a millionaire. And kind of ironic that you said the same thing.
The one name I always think about is Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
He did not become famous until like 60 years after his death. Like he never thought about being famous. He just wrote stories in the local newspaper because he did it. He did it because he loved it, and he was trying to, like, I don't know if you want to say he was trying to pop the local boys, if you want to put it that way, or something. He was just trying to do something that he was passionate about and do the best of his ability. And he never in his lifetime got to get any heavy recognition of any kind. And 60 years later, all of his work is published in a book. And next thing you know, everyone on planet Earth seems to know who Edgar Allan Poe is. And it's all about passion. It all starts and ends with the passion.
You gotta have passion.
Anything
you gotta have passion. No, I totally agree with that. You definitely have that, and that's why I decided to put you in the Hall of Fame again. And we have some passionate people that want to talk to you before I get to the TF crew. And even though I shouldn't be talking as long as I am, you're Rad Dad. We're gonna stay on the air.
I appreciate you, Bryce.
Yeah, no problem. When I get dry socket, I'll think of you. Hopefully, I don't. I'm really terrified about getting dry socket. People have warned me about dry socket. And it's like this thing, your mouth turns sideways, and but so far so good.
Just water your sockets, isn't that? I don't know.
No, it's like
that's not how it works. Oh,
no, it's like if you get stuff stuck in your mouth, it gets logged in, it forms a blood clot, and you get this pain. You have to go back to the dentist, and it's like a whole. And I spent $4,000 out of pocket already. But I might be one of the people that's closer to the millionaire scale. So let's just say you wouldn't be feeling too bad for me. But speaking of people that are here, Ox McCoy's been ready, and he's been around a few things or two, and he wants to say hello, and I'm going to certainly say hello to him back, and he's doing all right. And I got to congratulate Sean Jovi because his anniversary in the backyard is 19 years as of tomorrow, and I may not be good at many things, but that would give my count to 2006. His debut was on August the 31st, 2006, and he wants a future GBYWN title shot from his favorite stepdad.
I mean, the GBYWN proper started, the forum started around 2006, and we didn't even have the championships yet. It really all started with match quality challenges, where essentially they go, send us the best match you've had this spring. or this fall or this winter, like that kind of thing. And they would all rate him and things like that. And that kind of turned into the community that turned into the championships. Sean Jovi was a part of all of that. Yep. And he's ingrained in GYWN as much as anybody else. And I don't know who's going to be next for this title. I don't know if I'm defending it at TF Crew again. I don't know if I'm defending it at a reunion show.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that after we get through the chat. That stipulation that is put out there, it's with you and Angel, is for Angel's championship only.
It is. So that means I need more challengers. I really need to look at who really wants this and who has the passion, who has the desire, because this belt isn't just for everyone. Like I said, it's got to be about the passionate people that
Sean
have been there and understand.
Last vestiges from the GBYWN era that's out there. I mean, he's the first backyard wrestler I ever interviewed. He's the first one 3 years ago. Over 3 years ago, he was the first one I interviewed.
I will say, I love Sean Jovi to death, and I think this stage of his career is the greatest he's ever had. I think he's the most beloved he's ever been. He's the most successful he's ever been, and I would dare say he's also the most passionate right now that he's ever been. Because all wrestling does matter, and he knows that as well as me. I don't think there's a better time than to have this match. And I don't know where, and I don't know when, but I'm 100% legit about this. I want to wrestle Sean Jovi for the GBYWN World Championship, the most prestigious title of our generations.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a will, there's a way. So I'm just saying, there's a will, there's a way. So, and I would love to see that. And I think a lot of people would love to see that, and especially Sean Jovi. And to quote one wrestler out there, never say never. Never say never. And I have a super chat here. Speaking of people in the GBYWN, Hubie Jenkins wants to give the GBYWN 5 tuna dogs. Now, have you ever had a tuna dog?
I haven't.
I have not.
Are they $2 for 5? That sounds like a terrible deal.
Well, I do have one famous tuna fish story, which I really don't want to tell any. I already told it once. I don't want to tell it again. I was like 7 years old, and my dad was like, "You want to eat a sandwich?" And it was like tuna, and it smelled so bad, and I never ate tuna after that again. And but
I only got into shrimp like 5 years ago. I mean, I'm crazy, but now I like shrimp a lot.
I cannot do it. I can't do it, but I can do a lot more comments. And you got a lot of comments all of a sudden. So I'm going to stay. I'll stay as long as possible. And speaking to people that want to challenge, another man that's out there who, by the way, you do owe something to. I'm going to go all the way down to the chat, because this is another man that's been elusive on my platform. And that is your partner last time you were in a ring in the TF Crew. That's Mr. Doc Holliday. And also, he's a champion, just saying, in the TF Crew. I'm going to promote that eventually here in a few minutes. And he's got a match that's certainly almost very ironic to yours coming up here next Sunday. And he says, wait, Rad needs a challenger?
The parallels between the legendary Doc Holliday and I right now are crazy. Because we haven't had a singles match in over 10 years. And all of a sudden, here we are. We're in the same promotion at the same time. I'm competing for the World YouTube Championship. He is the Tomorrow's End champion. For those who don't know what the Tomorrow's End title is, it's a dirty fighter title. It's like, think of it as Pure Rules, but the opposite, where eye gouges and scratching and all that is legal. I believe there's no countouts because
we talked about that with Pastor last week, and how
the rules are wild.
Doc Holliday's run, though. Who knows?
But they're so perfect for a Doc Holliday, because Doc Holliday and I are two very different professional wrestlers. But that's also what makes it so interesting. The very few times we've ever tussled, and I've definitely brought this up to Gabe Sayers. And the only thing stopping us right now is that we're both too successful. He's got his championship. I'm going for my championship. But we were able to team up in that 6-man tag, and we had a little preview there. If you guys saw the promo, you saw the promo of me and Doc Holliday. Things got a little intense because we're cool right now, but we haven't always been cool.
And well, you mentioned Gabe Sayers, and now Gabe Sayers is working in my city, and I could certainly talk to Gabe and run into him this week and maybe ask him about that, because I mean, I know where the man works. He's told me where he works. So, I mean, I'm not going to, I'm going to go and knock on his, wherever he is. But he told me that, I'm welcome anytime to say hello. And I'll make sure to tell Gabe about this in person, not just on a clip on social media, but I'm pretty sure I can do that.
You absolutely tell him, because whether it's defending the GBYWN title against Doc, whatever the case may be, I'm assuming that the only thing stopping us right now is the fact that I'm going to be the world YouTube champion and he's going to be the Tomorrow's End champion. So what are we going to do? Are we going to unify them all of a sudden? Are we going to go under his rules, under my rules? Are we going to do a double title, two fall? Like it's complicated right now. But I still believe down the line at some point, this match is going to happen. Radley Belmont is going to wrestle Doc Holliday, and it's going to blow the roof off that building. I cannot wait.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm thinking about the Avril Lavigne song. It's complicated because these guys have complicated paths to get there. And thank you, Hubie, for the super chat. You got a lot of people here in the chat. Let me get to everybody. I'm way behind on the chat, which is good because I can't see. Okay, who else we got here in the chat? Let me get to my friend Wyatt Black, the Controversy King, also from the great state of West Virginia. And he would like to say that Rad Dad is Controversy King approved. That was very nice. Because Jimmy Controversy, he's talked to me before about GTS, actually. Actually, he's watched you in GTS. I actually want to remind you about that. He has watched you in GTS. So there you go. Yep, hello from GTS Universe. I have a comment from Twitch. I don't even know who you are. It's one of those spam bots. So, yeah. The belt is pretty neat, by the way. The Matt Pro Wrestling Championship is definitely neat. And
it's Dave Swan approved. So there you go.
Yeah, I want to say hello to my friend Michael Christian, who says, great shirt, by the way. Loves your shirt. Not mine, yours.
By the way, I will mention, I just got this shirt back. This is a shirt I lost a couple of years ago at a Sanctuary Wrestling. And I finally got it back. So it's the return. This is a re-debut of this exact shirt.
Well, it definitely looks 80s Rad approved. It reminds me of the old, what was the VH1 classic? I love the 80s. There's my favorite 10 pounds of gold. Keep it warm, brother. And Sean Jovi likes my war chants. The war chants, this was my first one that came back since the dentist approved surgery. And Jovi's also stoked for the new podcast on Golden Triangle Media.
No doubt we'll be talking about Sean Jovi, maybe even having him on for it. We'll see.
I think that would be a great idea. And Rad Dad is the true wrestler of the world. Yes, and hit the sub button for all the companies he represents and us. And I would appreciate that very much. And who else we have here in the chat? Okay, I think I caught up on some comments. But yeah, please follow Matt Pro Wrestling on Instagram. That would be nice. Go out there and do that. On X, if you're on X, hit the follow buttons for them. Also, YouTube, hit the sub button for Matt Pro Wrestling while everybody's here. Pure Vanguard Wrestling, hit the follow button for them on Instagram. And I'm also aware that they just shared on their Instagram stories the announcement of us talking about your match. So go to their Instagram page and read it up on their story. We'll put the clip up later on. Awesome. And thank you, Wyatt Black, again. Yep, hello. Thank you, Jade. Who else? Please hit the sub button for Ref Nick's page on YouTube. I would highly recommend you do that. Congratulations. Yes, congratulations. Hit the sub button for Golden Triangle Media because that helps all of us. Congratulations, Pure Vanguard Wrestling Media. We're speeding up on the comments. I got them up here. We talked about that with Hubie. Hit the sub button for Hubie because he's now a link also of the GBYW. And also, he said, last thing I heard, MySpace was into real heavy music. Yeah, okay, well, that's a good idea for me.
Apparently, MySpace originally started for bands, and now they're kind of...
Yeah, you know what? I knew because my mom sings in bands, and my mom, I'm pretty sure, was on MySpace, and my brother was in a band, and they had their band stuff on there.
Oh, there you go.
They had bands, and I do remember MySpace for being in bands, and he said he did post on the forums page. What a small world. Who, by the way, talked about he's been doing this since 1998, and he's been around the block, and a lot of his guys, they followed the GBYWN, and they came on a couple weeks ago, and what a small world. That's what I'm saying about Sportzwire.
I love how huge and how small wrestling is at the same time.
But I hear Sean Jovi say, oh, it's not the same anymore. No, I'm telling you, we got new people. I'm telling you, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come once I get over my tooth implant. Hello to my friends in North Dakota, Legendary Backyard Wrestling. The guys will be back here in a couple weeks. My people in North Dakota, in Bismarck, North Dakota, beautiful North Dakota. Boy, it's beautiful now, but in a month they'll be in Wintercoats. There is ref Nick Mitchell. Radley, I'm requesting one knee to someone's face at Nowhere to Run. I think we showed the footage.
Oh, yeah. You got it, Nick. One bee's knee coming right up.
Well, we're going to get that on October 11th. Thank you, Ox. And hit the sub button for Sean Jovi. Who else we got? Yes, hello to Ref Nick. And how is my tooth? My tooth's okay. It's just like, it's weird on the left side of my mouth. I can't really eat on the left side of the mouth. I'm hoping maybe by tomorrow or Monday, but it's better than where I was. It was funny though. I wasn't told to take, when you get a tooth surgery or a tooth done, they tell you to like take there's like this big like stitch, and the dentist was like, didn't tell me to take it out, and I had this thing in my mouth, and I was getting like chest pain, and I'm nauseous, and like I asked a friend of mine who's long story short, his ex-wife was a dentist, and then he's like, you got to take that out. And I took it out, and it was like, that's where I started to feel bad. I don't even want to show it on the, you definitely would have, as a wrestler, would have probably seen something like it, but the amount of blood in my mouth was like, oh my goodness. But I'm getting there. I can function. I just can't eat the way I want to eat, but we'll get there. Thank you. And thank you to Justin Parsley. Of course, my whole monitor wanted to say hello. The raddest, daddest dude has finally come back to Sportswire, and I hear my raddest hall monitor is coming back on September 11th. So, and he says my name, which almost nobody calls me, but I'll let him say it. And the Radley Belmont is in the house. And by the way, he's wrestling Sean Jovi 4 weeks from today. He's wrestling him, by the way. He's wrestling him in a tag team match. Yeah, he and the GP are wrestling Sean Jovi and Mephisto and the Switchblades. So it's the Rockstars of the Galaxy, the Switchblades against the Real Monsters. And Justin Parsley's going to probably talk about Sean Jovi when he's here in 12 days. Jimmy Controversy may be an awesome name, but to many that wrestle with him, they may have a difference of opinion. I like Jimmy. He did give me a letter of recommendation when it came to a Mickey Knuckles interview, potentially.
I'll say this. I wrestled Jimmy Controversy in front of 300 people for 25 minutes, and that crowd came unglued when I pinned him. So take that for what you will.
But the Sarge is part of the syndicate, and after the way Angel felt, winners go out with winners, and obviously he's going to be represented. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes, but he's a part of the syndicate now. But I don't know how Angel's going to feel about him coming up next Sunday. Just saying.
How did that even happen? I don't understand.
We talked about that when Jake Dvorak was here. Also going to be on the card. Yes, hello to Justin Parsley. And he gave the stamp of approval of you being in the Hall of Fame again. So thank you, Justin, for your support. Want to say hello to my friend Colton Lee, the Heartless Sheriff, who's back in the ring very soon. And I have a Twitch comment, but to one of those spam ones. Give a sub to Rad Dad's page on YouTube. Follow him on Facebook, Instagram, X. And also on TikTok, by the way. I want to say hello to the
post every single day on all social media. And
I share you the most on X, by the way. I do share you a lot on X. I do.
I see it, and I really appreciate it, believe me. Especially on X. It's hard to get stuff.
I know X is like, I don't even know why I'm still on X, but I go on your page and a few others. I think Gabe.
Honestly, the most of it is for GTS fans, because I still love the GTS fans, and they
that's what Gabe said when he was here. Yeah, Gabe's another one I share. Hello to the lovely Athena, and definitely thank you, Athena, for being here. By the way, he was there. He couldn't have asked for a better time. He was there at the Chase Bakefield wedding invitation. Yeah, he was there. Wow.
Heck yeah.
I like him. I can't wait to talk about it. Chase said he's going to talk about it here in a few weeks. And also, Zilla is a fan of you. Thank you, Zilla, for being a fan still. Thank you, Doc, for the kind comments. And obviously, hello to Doc. Yes, we know Doc from GTS as well. I was singing the complicated song to the other wrestlers today when we were fixing the ring. There you go, the Avril Lavigne reference. Yeah, there you go. But okay, we've obviously talked about a lot of things here tonight, and the topic that I want to talk about most, it's a personal one. Yeah, you might want to put this stuff down because for those that are on the card, because I see Doc and I see maybe a couple other people out there. I have bought a ticket to this show, and I really am excited to talk about it. It is a Day of Atonement, and you have been waiting for this day maybe more than anybody else. You have fought a long, hard road for about a year for this, and it's finally taking place here coming up. And you have got a match with Angel Santiago. You got what you wanted, but now you're going to be going in a match 2 out of 3 falls with the Puerto Rican Prince. He's here Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, but I'm giving you, well, the first opportunity to talk about what's ahead and maybe the day that you will finally have your atonement with the TF Crew YouTube champion, the leader of the syndicate, the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago.
I mean, you're absolutely right, Tom. This feels like it's been building up for well over a year at this point. When I debuted for TF Crew last summer, that's officially the first place I went to as a singles wrestler was TF Crew before Matt Pro had me in the singles tournament. So when I won last summer, I was determined to go for the singles gold. I feel like that was the way to go. That's what everyone should want to do. They want to be the main event. They want to be the champion. And when I was able to capture the legendary YouTube championship from GTS and the GYWN World Championship, that was enough to seal the deal to get me a shot at the TF Crew World YouTube title. I remember when we had the match, we called it the winner's going to be like the champion of all of YouTube.
Yep.
We went the full 20 minutes. Now, earlier today, you saw the match for the MPW Grand Championship. That match went over 20 minutes.
Yep.
The tag team championship match before that went over 20 minutes. Intercontinental title match, Jimmy Controversy, over 20 minutes. The match with Air Spiral in the cage, over 20 minutes. You're seeing a pattern here, are you not?
Yep. And by the way, your match with Jack Martins wasn't too far behind either, which you wrestled at a few miles away from that little thing called SummerSlam. That was another match too that you wrestled in quite a bit of time.
Absolutely, and that's just the legendary caliber of wrestler that I'm taking on these days. These people are not scrubs. None of them are scrubs. They are high-end athletes trying to get to the top of the independent wrestling scene. So, Red Dead, I'm ready to go 20 plus every single time. I understand this was a huge match that involved 3 championships. That's 3 different people, 3 different sets of management that needs to make sure that whoever leaves with the title isn't broken, bruised, and has to vacate them all at the end anyway, because I don't know how long we could have wrestled. But in my mind, Angel Santiago, he put, he held his side of the deal. You know, he was there all the way through, neck and neck with me. He kept his side of the bargain for 99% of the match. Because at the very end of the match...
We talked about it. Yep, we talked about it.
Yep, I hit that stepdad stunner, and I was ready to get that pinfall. And it was one of his little lackeys, one of his little minions who just need their meal ticket. They got to survive so they can go back to Orlando with Angel Santiago, go to Panama, wherever, ride the Ferris wheel or whatever the heck they do at Atlantic City or whatever. Because Angel Santiago is paying all the bills. And without the gold, Angel Santiago is not going to pay the bills. So they made sure that Angel got out of that ring and I couldn't pin him at the last 3, 4, 5 seconds of the match. So match went to a draw. I decided that moment then and there that I was going to put all the cards on the table. I said, let's go another 5 minutes. And Gabe Sayers was okay with it. Gabe Sayers was like, all right, we'll go another 5 minutes. I could see him on the side. He was going to risk it. We didn't talk to the GTS. We didn't talk to Graham or Lisi or any of those people. We said, all right, we're just going to do it. And Angel Santiago said no. He said, I'm fine. I'm out of here. Coward. He took the coward's way out. I gave him credit where credit's due. He was as good as I was for about 19 minutes. And then I proved that I was better at the end. But he had to walk away because to him, having a draw is enough to get by. You know, he doesn't need to prove that he's the better wrestler. I need to prove that I'm the better wrestler. And that's why Day of Atonement means so much to me. I won a 6-man tag team match alongside Doc Holliday and Jungle Jim Wilder. And that allowed me to get this title shot. Why with Doc Holliday, a guy that barely trusts me and barely likes me, and Jim Wilder, a guy that doesn't even go here. Why would they team up with me to get me a title shot? It's because nobody likes Angel Santiago. Nobody respects Angel Santiago. And once he did that, once he went to that draw and said, nah, I'm good, and left, he disrespected the championship and TF crew. And nobody in that locker room is going to respect him for that. Nobody is going to be okay with their champion saying, that's good enough. No, every single wrestling company wants their champion to say, I'm the man in underground wrestling. I'm the man in independent wrestling, and nobody can beat me. That's why we have unification matches and double crown titles and all that kind of stuff. Everyone wants to know, am I good enough? I'm telling you right now, I am good enough. And that's why this match is 2 out of 3 falls. I'm going to pin Angel Santiago twice. And I'm going to make sure that I pin him first before he pins me. He's not going to pin me at all. I'm going to pin him to
You
prove.
sure you can say that, though? I mean, you could say all these things about Angel, but it doesn't matter. He's still been on top. I mean, his run as champion, I don't care anywhere. I don't care if it's independent, underground. I don't care what promotion it is. So many guys have tried, but yet they failed. And that includes you in January. You certainly had him right where you wanted, but you didn't get the job done. Close but no cigar. And Angel's going to feel that nothing's going to change because everybody said the same thing. And that's why he's going to continue his run as the TF Crew World YouTube Champion, as he calls it.
Tom, I love when you play devil's advocate because it just allows me to prove you wrong. There was no failure at the Unhinged Rumble for me. I successfully defended 2 championships. He did not do that. He walked away like a coward. Did he defend his championship? Sure. Did he walk away after a challenge? You're dang right he did. Coward. Last time I came on here, I said a lot of nice things about Angel Santiago.
You did. No, you did. You actually did. It was almost uncharacteristic, especially at that moment. You were still wanting the opportunity. It wasn't at that moment guaranteed.
And I'll tell you why. Because I do believe Angel Santiago can wrestle everyone's butts off. But here's the thing. That was before Angel Santiago walked away from a challenge. That's before Angel Santiago, in front of an entire sold-out PAPW facility, said, I don't want any more. If he said, I don't want any more, 1 minute earlier when the match was happening, that's giving up. That's losing your championship. And the only reason he didn't was because the bell already rang. If you tap out after the bell rings, in my book, you still lost.
But in the wrestling records books, but in the wrestling records books, he didn't lose.
He didn't win either.
But he didn't lose.
We have the 2 out of 3 falls.
Now that's a good point. Guys. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But this is fascinating. 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, you say you're gonna not even give him an opportunity, but is this something after everything you've went through? The Carter match, the tag match prior to that. What you got to go through. By the way, Friday, before you get here next Sunday, you got to get through Sturdy Sal. And that's a whole nother ball game we talked about playing at the beginning of the show. Jack Martins you went through. We talked about the situation you're dealing with in Pure Vanguard. You have a lot on your plate. So going into this match this Sunday, I know this has basically been about 9 or 10 months in the making, but is this something that can you handle this? Can you hang with Angel Santiago 2 out of 3 falls after everything you've gone through and what you're even going to go through before next Sunday?
Bryce, I'm a very different man than I was on January 4th. Because on January 4th, I had just defended the legendary YouTube title. I was wrestling weekly. I was sore. I was beat up. I won the
GWA. You did talk about an injury on here. You did talk about an injury. Yep.
I had a lot of beatings and I won a lot of matches, but I was in a lot of pain. And I decided that I was going to have a gut check and wrestle Angel Santiago because I wanted to see in a wrestling situation, could he out wrestle me? And he couldn't do it. He was as good as I was for 19 minutes, and I was ready to go longer. This time, I'm not there to out wrestle Angel Santiago anymore. I know his tricks. I see him coming. I'm gonna go head to head with everything Angel's trying to try and do, underhanded as it may be. I'm not an idiot, Bryce, and you know that. I was also getting my butt whipped every single week, winning or losing. It doesn't matter. I was getting sore. I was getting beat up. Lately, I haven't been going to GTS. I left there. I've been healing. I've been going to the gym. This is real. I've been going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, I saw that. You said you're in the best shape. You've lost weight.
I have lost weight. Cardio, constant light training. Getting these Papa Bear pythons. These red.
Well, you're gonna need that to be in a match. But you're gonna need to have done those things by hitting the gym, losing weight, gaining muscle. You're gonna have needed to have done those things to go into a match like this because it's not just gonna be a 20-minute time limit draw. I mean, 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, listen, who knows how long you could be out there? So you're going to have needed to have done everything to prepare for this, not only physically, but mentally.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm doing these things. Bryce, I've been doing DDP yoga lately. Let me tell you, that's been a life changer. I'm a high believer in DDP yoga as well.
Hey,
I feel better than I have in.
Oh, listen.
Oh, yeah. I feel better than I have in probably a good year, 2 years, really. And I feel like I'm at the best I've been. And if I was good before, I'm very excited to see the limits I can push myself to now. Because like I said, I am a limits pusher, and I will not stop. My brain just, it's like going through a tunnel, man. It's like a tunnel vision of like every time I got knocked down, I have to get back up. And I'm not thinking about anything else but getting back up every single time. And that's been the key to success for me. They call me the workhorse. At GTS, every week they say,
you were the workhorse. Listen, you were the workhorse champion. Now, listen, we said the same thing here. You were the measuring stick there in GTS. You were going out there every time you were on the air. You defended that championship. You were the measuring stick, no question.
And so now all those GTS matches, all those matches of those other companies have now moved to Mat Pro, where I will be defending in the main event. And I'll put my heart and soul into that main event. The very next night, I'm not afraid to say it here on the show, I will be debuting for ISPW.
Whoa!
And I don't want to say any more than that, but I will be debuting for them September 6th.
Wow, that's next week. So right now you're here, but a week from now you're going to be in a ring in ISPW, and then next Sunday afternoon you're going to be in Bristol, Connecticut. Boy, you're a busy man. You got an encore on Friday against Sturdy Sal for Mat Pro Wrestling, defending your grand championship. You're in ISPW the next night, and then Sunday afternoon you're rounding things up with a Day of Atonement.
So for 3 days, I'm sure Angel Santiago is going to drink whatever he likes to drink and talk about little strategies and how he's going to fight dirty with all of his boys. And he's going to try and round them up from the yacht or whatever he's on and try to make a plan and try to see how he can run away. And for 3 days straight, I'm going to have a war mindset. You know, when you have that mindset of it's game on and there's nothing else that matters. Laser focused. I'm doing that 3 days straight. So by day 3, I'm going to be so focused. I'm beyond warmed up. And I'm going to have 2 wins under my belt. So I'm going to be more confident than ever. So you're gosh darn right, Tom. I'm going to get that first fall. I'm going to be the first man to pin Angel Santiago in TF Crew history. And then I'm going to do it again. Because when I definitively defeat Angel Santiago 2-0, I will prove that the TF Crew World YouTube Champion is the mountaintop, is the one to watch, is elevating TF Crew to a whole nother level, while being the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion, while being the GBYWM World Champion. Why, Bryce?
Why?
Because it's the Datitude Era.
Well, I know, but you've got a Day of Atonement first to continue that Datitude Era. But there's no question, you talk about your game face. You talk about laser focus, and you're going to need that because what you're facing you're absolutely right. The last time you were here, you were talking about chasing the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Championship. Obviously, the importance of that we spoke about at the beginning of the show. You've got that. You've got the GBYWN World Championship. Obviously, we know the history and the heritage toward this. But now, you are facing what's in front of you, the opportunity of a lifetime to hold 3 of the most important championships in their significance for heritage. We know the GBYWN, what that stands for. Mat Pro Wrestling, what that stands for. But then the TF Crew and what that stands for in the underground. Because the TF Crew, in many ways, is this very unique thing in the underground. It's a very, very unique product. And you have that opportunity to be that representative. And to be that representative after what Angel Santiago has done as champion. Nobody's pinned him. We're talking about almost 2 years. All these different guys have tried. Mikey Anarchy has tried. There's a long list of guys that have tried and thought that they could go out and topple Angel Santiago. And you better have that laser focus. And you better have your game face on, because what you have an opportunity to do, you may never get this opportunity again to be at the same time the GBYWN World Champion, the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion, and then the TF Crew YouTube Champion, a championship that you just had to fight for months to get another shot at.
Absolutely. And those great wrestlers that Angel did defeat through hook or crook, wherever you want to say. Guys like Mikey Anarchy. I can go down the list. We all know the list. It's a great list.
Yep.
Those people fought for what they believed was the most prestigious title. That is what they wanted. That is what they desired, and they put their hearts into it. And that's why the matches are so great when you go back and look at them. But what did I say, Bryce? The most dangerous man is the man that has everything to lose. Those people didn't have history relying on them that night. If I win this, it will be the most historic title win in TF Crew history. So all those other people would have won it, and it would have been a career highlight. But for me to win it that night while holding these 2 championships and going on to defend a triple crown, that is the biggest win in TF Crew history that any of his challengers could ever have.
I think it's one of the biggest wins
point.
in the underground to date, because we talked about this is the summer of Radley. We're in the granddaddy era. And that would basically be the crowning achievement of it, to be the triple granddaddy. The triple granddaddy. That's what you would be. You have that opportunity, and this opportunity, you may never get it again. This is an opportunity that speaks for itself. And listen, Angel's had an amazing run, and you guys have, and the irony of this, have been in the ring recently, but almost didn't even touch.
It's quite amazing we didn't. Angel Santiago once again ran away.
We saw it. We watched it last week in Pure Vanguard. We showed some of the footage earlier there in TF Crew a few months ago. You guys have been in the ring on 2 occasions since January 4th, and yet you guys didn't actually touch. And now you're going to have to touch. This is 8 months in the making, and you've recently, within weeks, have touched what should have been in the ring and yet didn't.
Yeah, somehow 2 matches, a main event, and he's never pinned me and I've never pinned him. I'm telling you now, Bryce, I'm going to pin that man. And I'm telling you right now, Bryce, he's not going to pin me. You're never going to see the Rad Dad get pinned by Angel Santiago. Because as extreme as TF Crew is, I have the most extreme of a heart and extreme of a soul. And I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to let anybody named Angel Santiago, the Puerto Rican prince, pin the Rad Dad. That ain't going to happen. This is going to be his Day of Atonement. This is going to be his last title defense. There will be some justice, and it's coming home to the Rad Dad. I'm going to make history like never before. And then I'm going to go on Triple Crown title holder. Whatever the next TF Crew event is called, how exciting is that going to be? The main event, 3 championships on the line. That's history in the making. And that's the Rad Dad guarantee.
Whoa! Yeah. You guarantee that. You guarantee that.
I guarantee that if I walk out of this match, the next show, as long as I am still Matt Pro Wrestling Champion, I will defend all 3 titles.
Whoa! Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that here first on Sportswire Radio, that as long as Rad Dad, Radley Belmont, this Friday walks away still as the Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Champion, on top of that, he's going to take that TF Crew YouTube Championship away from Angel Santiago, and he's going to defend that belt, the Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Championship, and oh, by the way, that GBYWN World Heavyweight Championship. And that's why you need to go out there and buy a ticket. I cannot stress enough before we sign off the importance of going out and supporting live pro wrestling, live wrestling. Gabe was here and talked about the significance of that. And you want to see more live shows. The way to do that is by buying a ticket. I did that even though I'm miles and miles away from Bristol, Connecticut. I still wanted to show my support to all the guys out there that are going to be competing at Day of Atonement. And I want to buy a ticket, and I want you to go out there and do the same. I want you to go out there and go to the Eventbrite page. You can buy a ticket for only $17.89. That's it. It's all it costs, but tax can be 85 cents. That's it. All it costs to go out there and support so many people that we see on Sportswire all the time. Jake Dvorak was here. He's going to be in the ring with Jimmy Controversy. We talked about that. Gabe, we talked about him, his match with Mikey Anarchy. Oh, by the way, Louis Sr. and Louis Jr. I mean, how about what that's going to be like? I mean, you know what Angel's going to say on Monday. You know, Caster's wrestling Leonidas. We know their history. So you've seen so many of the talent that are going to be there. Please, I can't stress enough the importance of going out and supporting the TF Crew and buying a ticket. This is where wrestling lives. This is the way to support live wrestling. And also, if you can, go out and show up to Matt Pro Wrestling, especially Matt Pro Wrestling. Pure Vanguard's got shows the 27th of September and the 11th. Please go out there and support them. Support all these companies because that's what it's all about. Also, follow the TF Crew on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Please support them. And I can't stress enough. I do want to say hello to my buddy Ace Reed, speaking of Australia, who's out there in his own right training and doing good things. Good day, and I'll check for Baker's phone. Okay, thank you for that. And all right, I want to get to final things. So if you've got an opportunity now, I want to put this out there. Angel's going to be here. He has a lot to say because Caster said a few things about him. He's going to respond to that. He is most certainly going to respond to what you have to say here now. And if you had any final words before next Sunday for Angel Santiago, what would they be?
Honestly, it's the same thing I've wanted all along. I want Angel Santiago to come out there and wrestle a good, clean match. And I know he's not going to do it, man. I know he's not going to do it. But I want Angel Santiago to, I don't know, grow.
Oh, you talked about Christopher Black, the Unhinged Rumble winner, and you were telling him, why are you with this guy? And you can do things on your own. And Jimmy Controversy's in the syndicate now, so I don't know.
Jimmy's weird. Jimmy's a weird one. I don't understand it at all. But Christopher Black, that's a whole nother thing. The man won the entire Unhinged Rumble.
I think he's one of the most heralded guys that I watch. You and him did touch in the ring in the match we just saw. He's the Connecticut Crippler for a reason, just saying. And
I did not take him lightly, I'll tell you that right now. And when I win the TF Crew Championship, if he wants to come after me, I gladly welcome that. Maybe he'll be the first person I defend this Triple Crown against.
I would pay to see that, literally. I would pay again to see it.
Absolutely, and I'd love to see it because, like I said, I want the TF Crew champion to be the best champion around. Just like I want the Matt Pro Wrestling to be the best champion around. And if they're all the same guy, so be it. So Christopher Black, I know you got that title shot. Come and get it after Day of Atonement.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to certainly finally come to a head. Rad Dad wants his Day of Atonement. We're going to see that next Sunday. The doors open 2:30, 3 p.m. is bell time, and the main event of TF Crew's next show, Day of Atonement, will be for that YouTube Championship. Now, a 2 out of 3 falls match and no time limit until one man reaches 2 falls, and that is Angel Santiago, who is the reigning defending TF Crew YouTube champion, and of course our guest here tonight, Rad Dad Radley Belmont, who is also the GBYWN World Heavyweight Champion and the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion, and it is also his day here tonight. But Angel will certainly have his day here coming up Monday night, 8:30 p.m. And knowing Angel, he's going to certainly say the complete opposite of what you said, but you probably would expect that. So
I want to point out one other thing, a disclaimer to all the TF Crew fans that come out.
Yeah.
Do not expect a third fall to happen. I don't know.
I know you said it on like
a lot
4
of people think that this is definitely going to go 3 falls. They're so evenly matched. If it goes only to 2 falls, folks, don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed. You're going to see a phenomenal wrestling match.
Oh, listen, I've been excited about this match for months. I mean, as a fan, leave aside this, as a fan, and I watch like underground wrestling, I'm like, this is to me going to be one of those matches that I really think is going to be one of the best matches we get a chance to see the entire. I think Angel is a fantastic talent. I think what you've done, obviously, we've watched what you've done tonight. You know, Jack Martins, you were out there in the ring with. You know, I mean, we talked about Darius Carter, and I mean, you've done a lot of amazing things, and and obviously, I did want to give the opportunity to say also, if you had any final words for Sturdy Sal, anything for Sturdy Sal here that you want to say before we sign off. And
my words are very much the same words I already said. Sturdy Sal is going to be one of the best champions in independent wrestling someday. And I really believe that one day he's going to look back and he's going to have 2-3 belts under his belt. I don't know. He's going to have 2 or 3 belts, and he's going to say, oh, man, if it wasn't for the Rad Dad putting me through all that heck, and then I came back stronger than ever, I don't know if I would have got to this point. And I really believe that I'm going to teach him a very positive lesson about how it is to fall and how to get back up. Just like Darius Carter made me fall many, many times in the span of 20 minutes. And what I do, I got back up every single time, and it turned me into a grand champion. Sturdy Sal might be the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion one day, and I would be very proud to see that. But he has to go through the lessons before he can graduate.
We're going to find that out. Listen, we're going to certainly find that out. There's no question that Rad Dad Radley Belmont has certainly shown the world why he is deserving of being the Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Champion, and that's why there can be no other way. And we will certainly see another encore of a match, and he will be in that main event here coming up on September 5th. And basically what we just saw here, a little bit of that footage against Jack Martins, who, oh, by the way, just wrestled Tank Tolland and is on his way to bigger and better things. And he got through him in a show that was right a few miles away from this little thing called SummerSlam at the East Rutherford YMCA, a place I actually know the East Rutherford YMCA very well. There is no question that we are still living in the Datitude era, and there is no question this has been a rad dad of a summer, and he is the granddaddy of them all. And he's looking to be a triple granddaddy here coming up, and he has that opportunity to be a Triple Crown champion. But first, he's obviously going to go out there and retain his Mat Pro Wrestling Grand Championship, we just saw him do here just now, and he'll be defending that this Friday. You can also see him here coming up on Saturday. He'll be debuting for ISPW, and Sunday, of course, main event. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is that championship. It is one of the prettiest belts of them all, one of the prettiest prizes, and he'll be defending that this Friday and Sunday. He's got an opportunity one more time to try to win that TF Crew YouTube Championship, and we'll be talking about that one more time here Monday night. We've talked a lot. I want to pass the baton to you. I want to give you some closing words. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and I pass the baton to you.
As always, Bryce, I absolutely love our conversations. You are the man. You bring the wrestling world together like very few do. And I appreciate that, but I think I can say for a lot of people out there, Sean Jovi and the like, that we thank you for everything you do on a daily basis. Really, it's phenomenal.
That's very nice.
I think if I even have half the work ethic you have for this podcast,
oh, stop.
For me to be a champion, that would explain why I've been so successful.
No, stop. You are.
I'm letting you hear it. I'm going to let you hear it because I believe it. And we all love what you do here, Tom.
Yeah.
You are the glue.
Yeah. Go ahead. You got anything else to say? Because you got the work ethic. Come on. We know you're a double champion.
But it's all about the work ethic. It's all about the work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have work ethic, but you are Rad Dad. You definitely have work ethic. Let's just not say you don't. But, everyone here should follow you on Instagram and X and YouTube. We've put that up, and those are the things we should really focus on. And you're in the Hall of Fame again. So, I will say that I appreciate the kind words because I know when you go on other podcasts, you don't get the same engagement. So I will at least give you that much. So I do appreciate that. And I saw a lot of familiar faces tonight. And they were happy to see you. And they did ask about you. So you got that. And Gabe was very happy you were coming on. And Gabe was like, yeah, keep promoting the shows. So Castor was happy. So I heard from a lot of guys. But great stuff. And before we sign off one more time, it's Matt Pro Wrestling Day. It's Pure Vanguard Wrestling Day. Also, they just announced on Instagram what we talked about. And I'll put that up on Instagram as well from our end. And I'll give you all this when we're on the air. And I didn't think I could go 2.5 hours, but you're Rad Dad, and I'm going to do it because if I get dry socket, I was worth it.
Listen, I'll tell you this right now. If you watch the Rad Dad Radley Belmont in 2025, especially the summer of Rad Dad,
you've had a great run. I got to tell you, legitimately speaking, your run, the people you've been in the ring with, Darius Carter, Jack Martins, who wrestled Tank Talon. We're going to talk about Santiago a lot, I'm sure, when you come back. Pure Vanguard Wrestling. So, I mean, there's no question your run, being a part of, Project X, Pro Wrestling Magic. I mean, GTS, certainly what you've done there. I mean, there's no question, objectively speaking, your run. I don't know if there's anybody I've had on in around here that's done what you've done.
It's been an absolute blast. It's been nothing but quality. If you look up anything Rad Dad related this summer,
quality over quantity.
And it's going to keep going like that. That's why it has to be so excited. I'm more passionate, more excited, more thrilled about my wrestling career right now than ever. And it's not just singles wrestling, it's tag team wrestling as well.
Yeah, you and Papa Bear out there wrestling.
Pro wrestling tag titles, we are going to go for those at some point, for sure. And that's what makes this so thrilling right now. Because the future, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. Listen, the sky is the limit. I mean, listen,
the sky is absolutely the limit. So, yeah, please, if you love me, look at Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Wrecking Ball Legursky, Randy Shawn, legendary indie wrestler. We got,
Pure Vanguard. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be talking a lot about Pure Vanguard Wrestling in the future because I definitely established a good rapport with them. So, a lot of the guys like them.
And Matt Pro Wrestling, South Philly's finest. I definitely think South Philly's finest is one of the best tag teams around. NWA tag team, by the way. You got Tarzan Duran.
I know Tarzan. I've had Tarzan on here. Yeah.
the roster is absolutely stacked. I'm so proud to not only defend this in other companies, but to be in a company that has such a stacked roster, really stacked roster. And I'm excited about future.
About earlier, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Now, listen, I mean, Matt Pro's a great roster. Pure Vanguard, we know about them. I mean, you're going to be debuting in ISPW. TF Crew, I mean, goes without saying. I mean, I've had on so many I've pretty much had on the whole roster now, except, Christopher Black, really. So, I mean, and Doc Holliday, because, Doc is Doc,
Doc's he's probably watching from somewhere.
Doc is Doc. I mean, I'll say it.
Maybe that's why he can't do a podcast with you, because it'd be pitch black in this attic.
Well, Castor said Doc would be, okay. Castor said here last week Doc would be grumpy.
Oh, he would be grumpy for sure. He'd be grumpy for sure.
I love
Doc. I love grumpy Doc. It's okay.
I talked to him off the air. I've talked to him on Instagram. I mean,
he might talk to you in full war paint. that might happen. We don't know. Doc Holliday's so unpredictable. That's what makes him phenomenal.
I think people would want to see it, but listen, whatever it is, Doc's here in spirit, and it's all about supporting everybody. And Rad Dad is definitely going.
I'll tie it up this way: if you see something Rad Dad related, definitely check out that entire company because the Rad Dad's all about quality right now.
I always support.
Absolutely.
TF
and
Crew.
That's why I support you, Tom. The number one wrestling podcast. I came to you because I wanted to be here tonight to advertise these companies.
And you know what?
The companies I work for have already posted, have already reshared because they think you're quality too. Quality.
I know. And I do say that. Yes, all the companies you work for do support me, and I do appreciate that. And most of your peers do. So that's why I say we're very fortunate. But
quality recognizes quality, and your Rad Dad approved to me, Reverend.
The dentist the dentist approved the quality of my mouth and my dollar bills. But all right.
At some point, we'll share a soda together, okay?
We will. I would like that, and I hope to see you in person. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is Rad Dad Radley Belmont. He is certainly going to be in action very, very, very soon in places like Matt Pro Wrestling this Friday, an encore against 30 Sal in the main events for his Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Championship. You'll see him debut here coming up this next Saturday at ISPW, and next Sunday in Bristol, Connecticut. He'll be there in the main event, Day of Atonement, against the one and only Angel Santiago for that TF Crew YouTube Championship. You'll also see him in action for Pure Vanguard Wrestling, Nowhere to Run. October 11th, it will be the Stepdads and the Pure Vanguard Wrestling World Champion Randy Shawn against the Empire. We'll have more coverage for that soon. And my friend, thank you as always. Congratulations on all the success. I will give you this stuff that we showed on the screen to you when we're off the air. And I'll see you, I'm sure, soon. And can't wait to watch these matches and talk about them. And thank you as always.
Thank you, buddy.
And that is the one and only legendary Rad Dad Radley Belmont. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportzwire, I'll be back here tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Magnum Carter of YBW, but also Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Angel Santiago is going to respond, and he's going to have plenty to say, I'm sure. And also,
I'll be watching.
I know you will be watching that one. But I also know, maybe not, but I also know that Rad Dad will be soon on the Golden Triangle Media's YouTube channel with the brand new Yard Times podcast. So there'll be some Yard Times here coming up. Check that out. Shout out to Sick Rick. And thank you, everybody, here for tuning in. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio with all music and wrestling matters. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.